Go look at it. Like Reed Sheppard, they have him going, I think, third to Houston. Like Reed Sheppard's a nice player, and he shoots it really well. He came off the bench at Kentucky, but was just a dead-eye shooter. But he has that elite trait. But do I think like Reed Sheppard's going to come into the league and average 17? No, I don't. I think it's going to be a struggle, like from a size standpoint. I mean, he doesn't even. You think about a guy like Diebler, who was 6'7" when he played here. Like Sheppard's 6'2". Like he's got good hops. He's a good athlete, but like not elite trait in any way. And most mocks have him going to Houston, I think, at third overall. Like you start to like Klingon and Eddie and those guys, like they're later in the draft. Like Eddie's down in a lot of the mocks is in the teens or the early 20s. Most of the guys in the top 10 are people I've never heard of, and none of us have. And you think about 20 years ago, even when I was a kid, you go back 30 years ago, and everybody was a known commodity coming in. And this is one of the things that's happened in the one and done era is you're getting 19-year-olds who nobody knows, and you're drafting on this potential. And this is the NBA draft the NBA draft used to be the NFL draft. It used to be you're drafting a ready-made star, face of the franchise. And every once in a while that happens. You get a Wembanyama, something like that, and it happens. But for the most part now, you're drafting on the potential of what they will be. The NFL is the most known of all of the drafts. You get a guy who played at least 3 years of college football. You have 3 years of tape on him. You got a lot of data. There's not nearly as much data. And over the last 25 years, the NBA has switched into what the NHL is and what Major League Baseball is, which largely, guys, is a crapshoot. At the top of the NHL, there's usually a sure thing. Every couple of years, there's a Bedard. But for the most part, every year you come up and you're trying to draft on this potential. And it's so tough to be able to land on those things. And the NBA has morphed into that over the last 25 years. It's a crapshoot now at the top.
Reed Sheppard, 6'2", 187, by the way. So definitely undersized for the NBA.
That might even be generous. I mean, I got a picture with NBC standing next to him. He didn't tower over him, I'll tell you that. He wasn't like, some of the other guys I have him had pictures with.
The other thing the NBA draft has lost that the NFL draft still has is the idea not just that they're ready-made stars, but they're ready to play ready-made stars. You could put them on a team and they could be very valuable contributors. Magic Johnson, like, look at what he did his rookie year with the Lakers. That's going a really long way back, but it's just something that used to happen. And now they're drafting that young potential, and then they have to develop them. Luckily, they've gotten a little bit better at holding on to the stars in the cities. We've seen guys like Giannis sign an extra contract, and it doesn't feel as much like guys want to team up and do the LeBron thing and everybody go to Miami and create your own big three on your own. So teams maybe can hold on to these stars, but you do not get to like reap what you sow, I guess, in a way of when you draft like right away. And in the NFL, you still can draft a rookie and look at the way Kyler Murray is talking about Marvin Harrison Jr. and how he's going to be a huge factor in their offense this year. Most of the guys that get drafted, unless a Wembanyama guy, although the Spurs still weren't very good this year, aren't going to automatically be in the top starting five and aren't going to automatically be there. And then they're names that you don't even know. So as they walk across this, I'm looking through
They're doing this for 2 nights, guys.
Yes.
They're making a television show for 2 nights.
I'm looking through Jay Billis's like top 10
players.
I'll give you.
He likes. I got it right here. Okay. I got it right here. So the number one kid's a guy named Zachariah. He's French. I don't know. Rishce. Richard. I don't know.
Rissacher.
Sure. You could just do that accent to it. It makes it sound like it. The number 2 guy is a kid named Alex Sarr. He's a power forward from Australia. Then Klingon, so we know him. Then Reed Sheppard 4. A kid from G League Unite, Mattis Bezelis. Stephen Castle out of UConn, we know him. Dalton Knecht, Tennessee, we know him. By the way, think about that kid. He's like Big Sky Conference, first team Big Sky Conference, and goes to Tennessee, and now's the 7th pick in the draft. So there's the argument for sticking around, and especially in a draft like this, it's a weak one. Rob Dillingham, Kentucky, so he was the backup point guard there. Tijan Saloon out of another French guy, and then Nikola Topic, point guard out of, I don't even know, Red Star? I don't know. So good luck with all
Bronny?
that. Well, that's
not in the top 10?
No, you're going to get Bronny is going to lead there. That's why draft night 2 is going to rate, because all you're going to hear about at the end of Wednesday on the coverage is going to be when will Bronny go, and that will be all second round, and there will be a rate boost with that, ratings boost for sure.
And this is why G League Ignite is shutting down for the NBA. The G League is still around, but the actual bring in the high school players to play and then they can get drafted, it's going away because there are a few G League Ignite guys mixed into these top 10s. Mm-hmm. But they're in the same spot as all these college players, and I would venture to guess that going to college for a year is still more fun than playing a year in the G League.
It's also telling with the NBA and the NHL, they have a lottery, but look at this year and last year, similar teams were in similar spots to get similar picks. I know they mix it up because of the ping pong balls, but stupid organizations are going to stupid organizate for consecutive years.
It's just hard, man. It's just really hard to build on this stuff and land it. I don't know. Years ago, the NBA had a chance they could have just followed suit with the NFL. I mean, the blueprint was there. Just do that. Especially now with an NIL world where they can make money on campus. You think about Zach Edey probably made a good deal of money at Purdue through the years. That kid that played at North Carolina for what felt like 7 years. Baycott. You can make a nice living now playing college. And if I'm the NBA, I rethink this. And I think, man, with these guys being able to make money in college now, we got to find a way to age cap this. Make it 20, 21, something like that. Everybody would benefit from it because you're drafting completely anonymously by the time this thing is done. The NHL will be the same way on Friday. The Jackets, by the way, picking 4th in that draft. The ratings demanded it, so we're going to do it. House of the Dragon, Season 2, Episode 2. We will break it down coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We used to have a billboard with our host's face on it, but only ugly people work here now.
You mama say you ugly, hey!
The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
It's the Kia Summer Sticker Sales Event. So give your friends something to look at and make this a summer to share and save with a capable Kia SUV like the Sorento, Sportage, Seltos, or Telluride, or a powerful sedan like the fun-to-drive Forte. Each backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. And for a limited time, get 1.9% APR for 48 months for well-qualified buyers and $1,000 bonus cash on specially tagged 2024 Sportage and Sorento models. Kia, movement that inspires.
Call 800-333-4KIA for details. Financing for 24 to 48 months from Kia Finance, subject to credit approval for purchase of a new 2024 Sportage or Sorento. Excludes hybrids and PHEVs. $21.65 per month per $1,000 financed at 48 months. $1,000 bonus cash on specially tagged models must be applied as down payment. Must take delivery by 7/8/24. Limited inventory. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See retailer for details.
With Tire Discounter's new TD Chat BS, we can detect deception over the phone. Let's call a typical tire store.
Yellow, cheapo tire where we bolt them on for less.
Yes, I need tires and lubricant for my vehicle.
Great, come on in. We'll slap on some new tires.
And what about the lubricant exchange?
Oh, yeah. We send you over to Ollie's Oil for that. They're right down the road.
Deception. Destination is 5.2 miles away.
Well, I'll be.
Also, 6 out of 10 cars need alignment. The probability is that I am one of them.
Well, just travel on over to Alignments or Us.
Calculating time for 2 additional trips.
You mean you want to do tires, oil change, and alignment all in one fell swoop?
Oh, I observe that Tire Discounters, the home of free alignment, is close by.
Ugh, Tire Discounters.
And they are experts at oil changes, brakes, shocks, and...
I'm losing you.
Hello? I'm sorry. Your system has crashed.
Stop in today for Savor the Summer Savings.
The Fan app is about to become your new best friend. Your one-stop shop for all your favorite fan shows. ESPN Columbus and BetQL. Live or on demand, listen on your schedule. Download the 97.1 The Fan app today. It's free. Do it.
Reggie was a nurse for 16 years.
I had become very burnt out. I wasn't making good money.
Then it happened.
There was an ad for My Computer Career, and it just spoke to me.
My Computer Career was the best decision he ever made.
I could study anywhere from my laptop, and I was working in the first couple of weeks of me being in class.
Reggie hit a home run.
The field is teeming with jobs.
Become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
The school is amazing.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu. This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Ah, the sweet sounds of spring. The crack of a bat, chorus of birds, and the glorious hum of a freshly tuned AC system. Don't sweat it. Let the Waterworks Heating and Cooling team keep you in tune with a spring AC checkup.
You're all set.
Schedule a visit today and stay cool all summer long. Call the Waterworks Heating and Cooling team, 614-333-9720, or schedule service on our website. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better AC.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Want to know anything about the Fans contest? How to win? Or what's up for grabs? Check out 971thefan.com. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Keep your friends close and your producers closer. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
And the Switch Cardell Jones Celebrity Softball game coming. Why picnic when you can Schmitnick? Presented by Monogram Homes and the U.S. Air Force. It is Saturday, July 20th. It's at 6:30 at Huntington Park. Current Buckeye players are going to play former Buckeye players. Your captains are Cardale Jones and Emeka Buka. Tickets are $10 and available today at BuckeyeCruise.com for more on that. Well, I was on the fence with this, but then we saw the numbers, and a lot of you are watching it. Millions, in fact, are watching it. So we'll do it. We'll give the people what they want, and we will do House of the Dragon reviews here at this time. We figured Tuesday would give you the best chance to be able to kind of catch up. Like I ended up watching it last night. Is when I watched. I watched it before the hockey, and so we'll do it Tuesday 9:45, and we're going to do it. Now, can we play the music, or do we have some YouTube?
I don't know for sure.
I can try to drum up some folksy music for next week's review, but we cannot play the actual Game of Thrones theme.
I feel like that one is popular enough that it would get caught on the YouTube algorithm or however that works.
There's probably a great many channels doing Game of Thrones reviews.
I would say so, yeah. Speaking of YouTube, The Fan is now on YouTube. Watch your favorite shows live. Check out the videos. YouTube Shorts. How do you find us? Head to YouTube and search 971 The Fan. And don't forget to subscribe to The Fan's new YouTube channel on that side of things. A great many of you have, and we're very appreciative of you for doing so. All right, let's. I would just say this as my general beef. There should have been more time. If you're going to have people lose their lives and present it in a fashion that it's a really big deal when they do, I should know them better. And we had something at the end of this episode where I didn't even know which guy was what. I couldn't remember the genesis of it because we just didn't have enough of them. The other thing that's different about this versus Game of Thrones is we're spending some time with the common folk. We're spending time with the smith. We're spending time with the boat maker. Like, we didn't do a whole lot of that. There was a little Renly Baratheon, but not much. And so they're spending a little time there, which I think is an interesting choice as well. This has a very different pace than the original series, and it has it's almost an opposite pace of what it was the last time we saw this, where it was 30 years over the course of 8-9 episodes, and now this is really drawn out. It's like a day.
It's like 3 days over 2 episodes. Yeah.
It's pretty wild. All right, so let's hit some categories on this. And let's drum up some sort of some folksy. What feels like what years is this? Like feels like the Middle Ages?
Medieval-y theme.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. Middle Ages.
So we just need like a mandolin or something.
I guess I can just do it in the background. Do 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 do
do the whole way through. Yeah. All right. Best scene or line. You can pick either your best scene or line, Reese. What do you got?
Is the nearly headless horse carriage ride? Because I just kept. This is gonna be sick. I kept hoping for it. Like as they're like trailing down the cobblestones, it's bouncing. Like, come on,
and then they get stuck, and they're trying to
wiggle the thing. Come on, head.
Well, and remember the last time we had one of those, it didn't go well for Joffrey. Remember when he was trying to do there was like a procession when they were in the War of the Five Kings, and he almost got taken out.
He got poop thrown at him.
Yeah, he did, and he had like all of his guys like kill all the commoners. That's like season 2, I think, probably. Chops, what do you got?
I liked all the stuff around it, but you're right. Yeah, like the two characters of Eric and Arik, like you don't really know that much about them, but how you got to that point was kind of fun and interesting. And then what it led to of the best scene is when the Hand of the King, Otto Hightower, he gets fired, and you've just got Aegon just going crazy the entire time. And then when he's like, well, Sir Christian Cole has a plan. What have you done? And he goes, what has Sir Christian Cole done? And I thought that was perfect because I'm sitting there like, yeah, exactly. What has he done?
People,
and he just keeps getting to move up the ladder.
So I'm going to use Otto too. He had a line that I thought was an incredible thing to deliver coming on the morning after his grandson was decapitated in his sleep. He said, quote, "We mustn't be shaken by this." Really? Really? We mustn't be shaken? I don't know. Pretty dramatic, I would say.
And then he's using it to shake the people, too.
Right. We mustn't be shaken by this. That absolutely killed me. Moment I'd consider living in Westeros. Was there a single one, Reese?
No, I would never want to live in Westeros. Like, all of a sudden, I'm just doing my job in the Red Keep catching rats. The next moment, I'm hanging from the wall. It's like, wow, what did I do?
Nothing.
Yeah, I tried because I was the same thought as you. I thought maybe Jace, when he was talking to Bela, I mean, it was a sad conversation, and he ends up having some fun after. But like it was a nice vista standing out there and looking out over the water and stuff. But other than that, no, I don't want to move to Westeros.
It feels like the only thing I could think of is Aegon's Aemon's when he's in the pleasure house. That seemed to be a comforting pleasure house. I mean, I guess that if you were into that type of thing, maybe that would be a win. I don't know. All right, who won this episode, Reese?
It was Sir Christian Cole, right? I mean, he failed so far. He failed about as upwards as you can.
Yeah, because it was basically an episode of losers. Like everybody was a loser in this episode, so it has to go to Christian Cole because he at least got to become Hand of the King. But the news of his plan, I'll put that in quotes, hasn't gotten back to them yet, even though they know it's doomed. But I wonder. I'm really excited to see the reaction when they realize how stupid and how ridiculous and how terrible that ended up being.
I wondered about that because it's dumb if you're a member of Team Green. It's a terrible idea. You're losing a member of the Kingsguard because of this other idiot. But if you're Sir Christian Cole, are you removing a rival?
So I put him to. It's a good question. I put him too, but then Bob was telling me that initially he didn't want any of this. Like that's what, right? I mean, go back to this.
Well, he wanted to run away with Rhaenyra.
Yeah, he didn't want to be in the middle of all of this, and now he's been in the middle of all of it, quite literally.
He just keeps getting himself.
It's a lover scorned.
It really is. So I think he probably won, but yes, it was an episode of incredible losers. I will say that the actor who is playing Aegon is awesome. He's up for it. Like that dude can go. And I think obviously the Matt Smith and the actor Emma Darcy who plays Rhaenyra, like they can go. That scene where that was like a 15-minute scene where they went back and forth, like those people can go.
When Aegon was declaring war and he was beating up the old model, and he was saying, "I declare war." It made me think of Michael Scott when he comes in and he's like, "You can't just declare bankruptcy and expect anything to happen." I didn't, or I say bankruptcy. I didn't say it. I declared it.
That's true. Did we get enough dragons in this one, Chops? This is for you.
No, not this week. We got there was like one other spot with it, but really all we got was Daemon taking off on his dragon, which
That's a weird looking dragon, man.
I didn't read at first that he was like leaving for good or like unknown where he's going, because he was like in his full regalia of his armor, and I was like, is he going to do something? But then we get nothing else with him for the rest of the episode.
Yeah, he's going to go rally the bannermen, don't you think? Isn't that that's got to be his job, because he screwed up pretty good on this thing.
Yeah. He's going to Harrenhal, and that always ends well for people.
Yeah, that seems like such a comforting place. My guess is dragons are really expensive. So if you can have them flying in the distance, that works. And then they're not up close. You don't have to pay as much to get those things done. I'd like to see a little bit more, too, considering it's the Dance of Dragons. All right, episode grade, Reese. What do you got?
That's a solid B-.
Yeah, I was thinking B minus range. I think when I first saw it, I may have gone C plus, but as I thought about it more, I was like, actually, there was a lot of good character development in this episode, and I really liked it. A lot to chew on with all the different scenes.
I went C plus just from the standpoint of it's such a departure from what they did in season one that, like, the big payoff at the end, I wasn't even sure like how significant that was that both those guys die. I really didn't know, like, other than the fact that they were brothers and they fought to the death. Like, that's significant, but I didn't know, like, well, how big of a deal is that? Like, how valuable are those two guys? So hopefully going forward, to your point, you do get that character development, and when someone does die, there's more of a hit to it, because they've eliminated so many people in season 1 and even the beginning of this that we really didn't get a chance to know very well. So hopefully that changes going forward. All right, second hour coming up next. We hit you with the real truth. JJ Redick had himself a press conference. I'll tell you what, we'll get to that among other things. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We've been your Jackets flagship station since day one. All the goals, all the action, all the memories. Your home for the Columbus Blue Jackets, The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
More and more people are falling into problem gambling. Mary Haven's experts offer comprehensive care. You and your loved ones can count on mental, emotional, and financial guidance.
Confidential and judgment-free. Go to maryhaven.com today.
The best of 2 leagues meet again this summer. Catch the stars of MLS and Liga MX as they show off their skills at the 2024 MLS All-Star Skills Challenge presented by AT&T. Tuesday, July 23rd at Lower.com Field. Tickets start at $25. Get your tickets now on Ticketmaster.
Hey folks, it's Austin Ward. Know what's tricky? Producing a lot of compelling off-season football content. Know what's not tricky? Continuing to come up with reasons why you should do what I did and call Awaken 180. I dropped 45 pounds in just 10 weeks, and to this day, it's still gone, plus 10 more pounds. Calling it magic is an understatement. Awaken 180 isn't just about losing weight, it's about finding a new balance. Especially with that GLP-1 hormone everyone's talking about. GLP-1 Balance by Awaken 180 is the quicker, safer way to adjust what your body needs without relying on daily meds or injections. My doctors are impressed, and honestly, so am I. Awaken 180 is a sustainable change that's backed by more than just my success story. Over 22,000 others share the same success. If your doctor's pushing for another prescription, ask them about GLP-1 Balance by Awaken 180. The support doesn't stop when you hit your goal either. Free support for life. Check it out, awaken180weightloss.com. Doctor approved, Austin Ward endorsed.
Gilbert worked in retail and restaurant management for 14 years. It was time for a change.
I recognized where I was at was vulnerable to the whims of the economy.
Then he heard about My Computer Career. Gilbert went for it.
In as little as 7 months, I got all of my certifications at a fraction of the cost for college.
He became an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
I can work from anywhere. I have more time for my family as well.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary. Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, U.S. Tax Shield can help you take back control. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Our team of tax attorneys can stop collections and get you protected. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the BBB, so call 800-494-6139. U.S. Tax Shield, 800-494-6139.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. The Florida Panthers are Stanley Cup champions after beating the Edmonton Oilers 2-1 last night in Game 7 of the Cup Finals. Sergei Bobrovsky gets his first cup at the age of 35. Florida will hold their championship parade Sunday in Fort Lauderdale. As for Bob's old team, the Blue Jackets are on another coaching search and have the 4th overall pick in Friday's NHL Draft. That'll take place at the Sphere in Las Vegas. In baseball, the Guardians are on a 6-game winning streak. Cleveland won at Baltimore 3-2 Monday. Guardians are back at Camden Yards against the Orioles tonight at 6:35. As for the Reds, Cincinnati smashed Pittsburgh 11-5 last night. Both teams are back in action tonight at 7:10. And the Clippers return to Huntington Park tonight against Omaha for a week stand at 7:05. This update is sponsored by Dr. Mark Levy. If you're snoring and not sleeping, give Dr. Mark Levy a call at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Not interested in Iowa football? Too bad. Chops will tell you about it anyway. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, second hour here on a Tuesday edition. Did I hear you right that parade is going to be in Fort Lauderdale?
What's the difference?
No.
Oh, yes.
That's a significant difference. Because, that's appropriate considering their location and the proximity to Fort Lauderdale.
You thinking it was going to be like down South Beach?
Miami. that they would go Miami.
I'm sure that's where the players went last night. After the game, do you think the players went to Fort Lauderdale to go out?
They stayed around sunrise.
I'm guessing they went straight. Yeah, the choppers to South Beach is probably the way that went. But that is so. I mean, and again, I'm naive to it. I'm not locked into Florida Panthers hockey all year, but it does make sense that the majority of their fan base would be Lauderdale and even all the way in the Palm Beach area. Like a lot of the golfers are Panthers fans. We saw Jack bang the thing, whatever they do to start the game. So that I guess it makes sense. But I guess I would have assumed it would have been in Miami. So they're owning where they own, quite honestly, versus where they don't.
Go to the people, not to the city.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's hit the real truth.
Bishop and Friends present The Real Truth.
Sponsored by Diamond Cellar. Over 76 years of experience and guaranteed lowest prices on Sawmill Road or diamondcellar.com.
All right, first one up this Tuesday. The Blue Jackets will hoist Lord Stanley in our lifetime. You keep making it longer periods of time, Bo. Is that the real truth?
Yeah, I'm optimistic. I think we're going to. I think at best, I'm looking at another 40 at best. That feels like that's in play. I think you guys are looking at least another 50.
Yeah.
It feels like it's in play. I mean, the longest droughts, like the Leafs are the longest. So, I mean, that would be the one where that you'd be waiting on, you miss out an entire lifetime waiting on the Leafs. And they're like in the 60s. So, yeah, the odds are that it will happen in our lifetime, that you will get it. And I'm in an optimistic mood, so I'm going to say yes, it is the real truth. It will happen.
I'm with you, too, on the optimistic mood. And now you said our lifetime, but we are counting each of us individually because I think Reeser probably has the longest runway of any of us. He just seems to be the most healthy to me of all
I think
three
you're
of
probably
us.
right, yeah.
But hey, maybe I bought a few years with Awaken 180 on that. But I'm going to choose the optimistic route. And so you're talking about they've been around for 20-ish years, so you can get 2 times the amount of time for them to get that, and it's not the beginning of a team now. Okay, I think I can feel pretty okay that they should hoist the cup at some point in that time. I'll look it up. How many teams haven't won the Stanley Cup?
Well, that is the real truth, and I'll go one better. They'll hoist it twice before we get unhoisted into the ground.
10 teams have never won the Stanley Cup with the 32 active NHL teams right now. Yeah.
Wow. So Arizona obviously doesn't exist anymore. So that's Utah. Buffalo has been around a long time. Us, Minnesota, Nashville, Ottawa. So those are all relatively, San Jose, Seattle, Vancouver's been around. So in terms of the ones that have been around a long time, Buffalo and Vancouver are the 2 oldest teams to not win. Everybody else is a relatively recent expansion.
The funny thing on this thing is talking about the Maple Leafs. The Maple Leafs actually have the longest cup drought of anyone because they've been around for so long and they haven't won in so long. That's a weird one.
Is it 64 for them?
Yeah, it says 56 seasons, so that puts you 68.
Yes.
Next one, J.J. Redick will coach the Lakers past the end of LeBron's career. Is that the real truth?
So the skeptic, did you guys see his presser, by the way?
I read some of the quotes, yeah.
Yeah, it's very not safe for work.
Yeah. When I was watching, I saw it. He dropped a couple of F-bombs about I don't give an F when somebody asked him about.
Which doesn't that always mean like he does?
Of course.
Like whenever he's going to come up and be like, I don't care what people think.
Absolutely. He absolutely does. The second time, I watched it the first time, I went, well, that's a choice. And then I watched it through the second time, and I just watched Rob Pelinka, who's the general manager there, Kobe's former agent. I just watched his face, and you could tell he was uncomfortable by it. And that organization has wild chaos in it, at the ownership level, at the front office level. And so there's a lot of things going on there inside that organization. But I do think it's probably the real truth. That is the case, that he will have a little bit of a runway here, because quite honestly, are we talking 2 more years of LeBron, 3 at most?
Yeah, I think that's
kind of at most. So I think that they could try to, I think he'll do well at this. I do. I don't know that it's as hard as everyone's making it out to be.
I feel like 2 things can be true with this, that that, one, I don't believe this line that they've set where J.J. Redick and LeBron didn't even talk during this process. And there was they didn't even speak with each other until after he started the interview process and was really, thinking about taking the job. Sure, whatever. I don't believe that one. But I've heard it enough, and I've, from people who are in the know, and then the Lakers also kind of saying it and strengthening that point that they do plan to say, well, what can we do to build around Anthony Davis in the future? With his injury concerns, who knows how many more years he has, but they do seem to be on that line of thinking of there is a life after LeBron now, and we need to start planning for it at this point because we don't want to end up in what the Lakers were, life after Kobe. Because they didn't build around the future of the team at the end of Kobe's career. So I think they do have that in their mind. It's funny, Rob Pelinka, I believe it was him at the presser. It was somebody, in the Lakers brass saying that, I don't really see a difference between hiring somebody with head coaching experience or hiring somebody with NBA experience. And J.J. Redick has that. And then it's the presser goes on and it's well, maybe now you do see the difference between head coach experience and player experience.
Yeah, it helps also. This is the real truth. It helps that, Redick's 40. And then they can kind of ride this whole thing out. And they won't, I don't think they'll jettison him 2 years from now. I think he gets the whole 4. And then they see what goes on from there. Because I don't know, who's out first? LeBron or Anthony Davis? Those, I think that's a legitimate question.
It should be LeBron, but you never know.
There's just no path for them to be competitive at the top of the West. It just isn't. So they're just going to look. The problem is they're kind of in no man's land. They're good enough to where they're going to make the playoffs. They're probably a team that the middle teams wouldn't want to play, and they're probably a tough matchup for some of the good teams as well. But they just do not have the organizational depth. They do not have the star power to hang with Minnesota or Denver. It's not even in the same vicinity of that. Dallas too.
And if you also ever wonder, hey, are people like LeBron, do they get special treatment in the league? They'll tell you that they don't. But look at the group of role players that was at the J.J. Redick press conference, and then look at Anthony Davis and LeBron James, who were not there.
Yeah, right.
Donovan Mitchell will end his career as a Cleveland Cavalier. Is that the real truth?
No. And even if I think that, and I do think he will sign the extension and stay in Cleveland for now, there's just, I see no scenario where he plays into his mid-30s as a Cavalier. I'm guessing he does a 3 or 4 year shot, he's still not even that old. Isn't he 26? So there's still plenty of time for him to do a 3-year max extension in Cleveland, and then if he doesn't like the way it's going, parlay that into a trade somewhere else. So I think that, no, this is not the real truth. There's plenty of opportunity for him to end his career. Maybe it's in New York, the place he always dreamed of playing growing up. Who knows? But no, I don't think it's the real truth.
Yeah, he'll be 28 in September. So, yeah, still a relatively young guy out there. So he's got multiple more contracts in front of him. So, no, I don't think he's going to finish his career with Cleveland. Where's he going to end up? I don't know. Guys bounce around all the time now. That's the other thing, too, with that kind of stuff is I feel like NBA players are a little bit – they have an easier time, and it's an easier time because it's a sport that you can play into your age, of taking a reduced role and doing something else for a team and maybe helping them on their title run. And at the very least, he'll end up on a team like that, I would think, at some point in his career too.
Yeah, I still think he'll play at a high level into his 30s, and that's, in his early 30s is when this new deal that he signs will run out. And then I think it's time for, it'll be time for both parties to move on. It'll be time for the Cavaliers to figure out what they want to do with their future, because it won't include Darius Garland. So sometime then, maybe Evan Mobley can become the focal point of the franchise where they build around him.
Man, it is. You want to talk about critical summer? God, that's a big time summer for them. How they chart this, because as we alluded to earlier when we were talking about the Panthers and how hard it is to build something into a championship contender. They have a core of players that you feel like if they can play together and grow, can be in the mix. I don't know if you're going to be boss. I don't know if you can win a championship, but there's value in being a team that can get to the second round. There's value in being a team that could grow into being an Eastern Conference contender. And if there's injuries, who knows? Maybe you make a run to a final. But if you miss on it and you lose commodities for less. I just think sometimes where the Cavs are concerned, do the people appreciate how hard it is to do what they've done over 25 years? 2 separate LeBron runs. They landed on Kyrie, which allowed for the second LeBron run, and then they landed on Garland and Mobley, and then get Mitchell. That type of a stretch, of success. I know it's just one championship, but it's remarkable 25 years of relevancy that they've had.
I think if they won a championship, it would for sure be this. But do you think, like, what is the line for Donovan Mitchell's the second best Cav ever?
There's something about anybody who played in the late 80s in Cleveland that the people up there, I don't know what it is.
Like, they just adore him.
You walk up there and you say, better player, Isaiah Thomas, Mark Price, they will fight you to the death that it's Mark Price. Who's the better center, Brad Daugherty or Patrick Ewing? They will fight you to the death that it's Brad Daugherty. Who's the better quarterback, Bernie Kosar or Joe Montana? They will fight you to the death that it's Bernie Kosar. There's just something about that era that it's like there's a certain group of people who will not get past it. My answer to that would be he's really close. He might be already. If he plays 6 years there, 6-7 years, that would probably do it.
To get the consensus and take a title.
Yeah, it'd be hard to deny the title, but I think I'm siding with Beth. Like, look at the accolades he's had since their 70-point game, all that kind of stuff. Like, he's already got stuff that you can
I'm already
list.
there.
Yeah.
Well, I think Kyrie's the second.
Sorry, Mark Price.
I think Kyrie's the second best Cav ever.
Yeah, I think that's fair too.
Right now.
Last one. If someone offered me a chance to drink out of the Stanley Cup, I wouldn't even ask what drink/liquid was in there. I'd just take a sip. Is that the real truth?
It is not the real truth. I do not consume any liquid that I don't know what it is. No chance of that. I made the mistake years ago in New Orleans doing this once, and it made what would have been a nice night into what felt like a really bad month. So, no, I always know what I drink, always aware of it. What I would choose to drink out of it would probably be like a Molson Canadian or a Kokanee, something like that, probably what I would go with.
No, if somebody hands me the cup,
you're drinking it?
Yeah, like especially like
God bless.
They try to hand me the white gloves or whatever because I'm not a player. No, like I'm just taking it. If the cup is right there and somebody has it and it's filled with something, that might be my only chance ever to drink out of the Stanley Cup. I'm taking it.
I would have had to have drinks before. If you're talking like first drink of the night's out of Lord Stanley's cup and I'm seeing it passed around and a bunch of other people are drinking out of it and there's foam all over their faces, I'm like, yeah, probably. Yeah, I'm good, but thanks. This is just cool to be here.
I think if I actually had it, I'd eat like a big bowl of cereal out of it. I think that's what I would do with my time.
Like Fruity Pebbles?
Yeah.
Like really,
like a
really
whole box. A whole box, a half gallon of milk. Let's do it.
I'd turn it into like guacamole or salsa and they'd just put like, the dipping. Yeah.
Be cool to have people at your house and they're dipping out of Lord Stanley.
It's a chip and dip. You put the chips around it and the dip in the middle.
That's exactly right. Yeah. Well, didn't Bob drink out of it when Jack Johnson won?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he did. I wonder what. I'm sure it was beer that they were consuming out of it. We'll go around college football coming up next. Penn State says they're unrivaled. Well, maybe there is a rival, and it's a little bit closer than even they want to acknowledge. We'll get to that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
The sound of Paul Keels calling a Buckeye game is erotic.
Oh, yes.
Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
The Columbus Men's Clinic opened in 2014 for guys who get it done. Let's talk, fellas. You solve problems all day at work. You fix your sink when it's broken. But when it comes to ED and low T, it doesn't get done. We get it. You hate going to the doctor, but you're the guy that fixes things. At the Columbus Men's Clinic, there's nothing to fear and no reason to delay. We've been destroying bedroom boredom for a decade. So if you haven't fixed this, call us. When the pills fail, call us. If you feel like you've tried everything, call us. Here, there's hope. From the conventional to the next level. You'll be seen by our friendly, discreet physician who will take the time to listen. Imagine finally taking care of this with no surgery. Imagine going from feeling gray to living life in vibrant color. It's time to be confident. Join the thousands of guys who have found success after walking through our doors. Will you be one of them? Dial 614-300-7400 or go to ColumbusMen'sClinic.com to schedule a $99 male performance consultation, including blood work. Do it for you. Do it for her. ColumbusMen'sClinic.com. Book your appointment now.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
She posted about us just now.
Celebrities can't get enough of Beyonce's bespoke skincare line.
She has 147 million followers. How do we monetize?
She needs a social media associate to help her with the hype.
We should repost this. Do we need a hashtag?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
If you're obsessed with fantasy sports and gambling things, we have the slightly above average radio show for you. On the Money with Dave Biddle and Scotty Vegas.
Presented by the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus.
Wednesday night at 8 on The Fan.
With Tire Discounter's new TD Chat BS, we can detect deception over the phone. Let's call a typical tire store.
Yellow, cheapo tire where we bolt them on for less.
Yes, I need tires and lubricant for my vehicle.
Great, come on in. We'll slap on some new tires.
And what about the lubricant exchange?
Oh, yeah. We send you over to Ollie's Oil for that. They're right down the road.
Deception. Destination is 5.2 miles away.
Well, I'll be.
Also, 6 out of 10 cars need alignment. The probability is that I am one of them.
Well, just travel on over to Alignments or Us.
Calculating time for 2 additional trips.
You mean you want to do tires, oil change, and alignment all in one fell swoop?
Oh, I observe that Tire Discounters, the home of free alignment, is close by.
Ugh, Tire Discounters.
And they are experts at oil changes, brakes, shocks, and...
I'm losing you.
Hello? I'm sorry. Your system has crashed.
Stop in today for Savor the Summer Savings.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
2 hours ago, Kyle arrived at the bar.
Hey, what's everyone drinking?
30 minutes ago, Kyle got his friends another round of drinks.
Cheers!
5 minutes ago, Kyle decided to drive home drunk. A minute ago, a law enforcement officer pulled up behind Kyle.
Sir, have you been drinking tonight?
A chain of events that began 2 hours ago is about to change Kyle's whole world. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
Is your IRS tax debt making you feel anxious? The professionals at Allies Tax Relief are ready to negotiate your fresh start. Call them now, 800-230-5174.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We're going to see partly cloudy skies today with a high around 89. There will be a few pop-up showers and storms developing between about 2 and 6 p.m. Heading into your Wednesday, look for afternoon showers with a high of 84. There could be some locally heavy rainfall tomorrow, along with gusty winds and small hail. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your Doppler 10 forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
Taking the art of sports radio and day drinking to a whole new level. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
And we're, of course, sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss, fast, sustainable weight loss without the medication. Solution for weight loss, Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Bob drank from the cup. He's in the building. You did some recon.
Yeah, so he was just right out there, and I was like, you drank from the cup. And yeah, so you were right. It was with Jack Johnson, and he was saying that he took his opportunity because they had passed it around just like between him and Jack, because when you're in charge of it for a day, it's heavy, and you're not supposed to let it out of your sight or let it out of your hands, all that kind of stuff. And he was saying it's like 40 pounds, which isn't that much, but as you're carrying it around. So he got his hands on it, and he took the sip. He said they were like mixing beers, but it was some sort of various, we'll call it a microbrew, a Stanley Cup microbrew for him. He also said the cup is not just the weight, but like how big the actual bowl is, that even once you pour like 3 beers into it, it doesn't look that full, and you really still have to tip it to drink it.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't trust, like, everybody just throwing their, because what if it's different if you take it, you pop the can, or if you open a bottle and dump it, but if guys are just taking like their quarter-filled glass and just dumping it in there with everything else.
Reminds me of high school, going around and checking all the beers, see which one's full, and polish off a few people's empties.
Do you think that there's a, because it's clearly the best trophy. Like, I think if I had to, I'm trying to think what I would say is second of the major sport. I mean, you want to do like World Cup. The World Cup trophy is pretty damn cool, but the Stanley Cup is the best of the other sports that we pay attention to mostly. I mean, at least the Super Bowl trophies are pretty cool. With the silver and the football on top, like there's that, and it's you can lift it, like it's doable. The NBA one,
I think the finals MVP one is cooler than the Larry O'Brien.
I don't have a problem with that. Baseballs is nothing. I mean, that thing looks ridiculous.
Just the circle of flags.
Circle of flags. I mean, that thing's just so stupid. I wonder if college football has a chance to go back to the crystal footballs.
Do they still give it out? Because
they make them.
Urban
so they
still
used to
got
make
one
them.
in 14. Yeah.
Yeah, so what they would do is they would make them. So those are the Sears Trophy. Is Sears still a company? I don't even know if Sears is still a company.
Most of them are closed. I know that.
Yeah, but it used to be the Sears Trophy was that that big black base, which was huge. But then you had the crystal ball that you would hoist up, and you'd kind of have that crystal ball. But then when they went to the playoff, they changed it and made it differently. But it used to be when you would go to the Woody, and I'm guessing it's still that way. I haven't been in the lobby, and I guess last summer it was, but I didn't notice. They had made like Sears trophies, like the crystal ball trophy. They retroactively made them for national champions, like in '68.
Okay,
like they had them for that. So I don't know what you do. I do think it's a shame that college football doesn't have one. It's like this.
They have it. The CFP one. It's gold and it's got the football. Okay,
I'm saying one.
It's stupid.
What I mean is like
they have the Heisman, but yeah, they don't have a team one. You're right.
That they don't have a team national championship trophy that's been that way, and that the crystal football probably was the closest. I don't know if this one that they're doing now is better than the crystal football or not. It's more manageable.
But you're right. Kids don't grow up saying, "I want to hold this trophy." I don't even know what the CFP trophy is called. It might just be called the CFP trophy. But that one, they did the similar idea to the crystal football because it has a base, and then you take out that like cylinder and you can hold that up. But the crystal football is a cooler look.
Yeah, Bob was just there. He said all the crystal footballs are still there. Yeah, I think that's kind of the one. I think that you could kind of go back to that if you wanted to, the crystal football. Maybe just change the base because the base was enormous. I mean, that thing was just huge to be able to get that
Well, they
done.
probably didn't expect too many programs to have 8 of them.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I guess you start making them for the ones that you won in the past. Yeah, there's the cup's pretty great. It's pretty great. It's hard to beat it, and it's been around for 125 years or whatever. So that's about as good as it gets. Teams trying to chase championships. Penn State claims that that's what they want to do, but I saw this over the weekend. Penn State's third best prospect in the 2025 class, 4-star linebacker named DJ McClary, flipped to Rutgers. He announced on social media. So he's a Jersey native. He was the highest-rated linebacker in the Nittany Lions class and leaves Penn State, which is 2 players committed at the position. But what most notably to me was that Rutgers flipped him from Penn State. Penn State lost a recruiting battle to Rutgers. And you say, well, that's a one-off. I mean, who knows? But if you go look at what Rutgers is actually doing in recruiting, it's pretty impressive. Like, Shiano is recruiting it up at Rutgers. And he's kind of keeping, if you think about Penn State's whole operation was, well, if we get away from having to play Ohio State and Michigan every year and we go with the unrivaled nonsense, then boy, we got a chance to get into the playoff. And I'm not sitting here suggesting that Rutgers is going to be a playoff team, but if there's anybody in that conference who benefits most from getting out of the divisional play, it's probably them.
Yeah, for sure. Now they don't have to play Michigan and Ohio State every single year. I think they were 1-19 in the 10 years that they played those two schools with one win against Michigan, and that's all they had to show for it. So that moves them right into the same neighborhood as Penn State. Rutgers currently the 11th ranked class in the 2025. They have 28 commitments right now, though, so we'll see how that works out as other people start to fill up their class. Penn State with 18 commitments sits at number 9. But even with the 28 commitments, no, there's no 5 stars. 5 stars are just really hard to come by for most programs. You know, we have an embarrassment of riches here at Ohio State. But they have 6 4 stars, which that's pretty impressive, not just for Rutgers, but for the Big Ten other tiers of teams in general. Yeah, the Michigans and the Ohio States and then Penn State even on top of that, and now some of these West Coast teams. But the Iowas and the Wisconsins, obviously Northwestern, Nebraska, those kind of teams, they don't load up that many 4 stars. 6 in a class is a really good start for really building something here. So we'll see how that evens out. But they've got a lot of players coming in as well in that class.
Like a Teamsters NIL collective or something. Like I look at some of these schools.
Like Jimmy Hoffa's working for Rutgers now.
That have these
running the bada
chests. You're like, where are you getting like Kansas State's paying like $10 million for a basketball team. Washington's paid $2 million for one guy. Like, because I don't know if Penn State is very active at all in the NIL front.
They were disorganized. Anytime we talk to Scarcella about it, he's always quick to mention like that they were slow to it. They're trying to get on board, but it took them a while. I just think everything they do there just takes forever. Gosh.
Anytime all their money's going towards the stadium too, and that's right. We always talk about it. That's the same pockets.
It's the same pocket. I always think about anytime I think about Rutgers, I think of Jackie Aprile Jr. and then I think about Christopher Maltasani slinging Wabistics in season 2 of that show. So that's the way that it goes there. You mentioned this yesterday. Brent Venables gets that extension as well around college football. This feels like one of those ones where it's like we're willing to give him the $51 million or whatever it is, $8.5 million annually through the course of the deal for the appearance of stability more than anything else. Not for that it's deserved or that it was asked for, but as we go into the SEC, which will become official next week, we have to have at least the appearance of stability and that we're all behind Venables. That's what that feels like to me more than anything else.
Yeah, it feels like something where a coach can come in now and say, hey, I'm hearing on the recruiting trail that kids are unsure about, hey, there's only 2 years left in your deal. How do I know that you're going to be there for the 3 or 4 years that I'm going to be there? So I think I'm going to need an extension. And unless you're already on a pretty hot seat, most coaches can probably get that done now, that they'll get the extension.
I don't know, man. You didn't just want to wait 1 year in the SEC to see how he did? Like
that would be the smart, prudent thing to do.
That would have been the right play, but I'm guessing they were panicking from a recruiting standpoint and felt like we got to have the appearance of stability here. It's going to be – I know Paul was big on them. He went to Norman and kind of got wooed by it, but that's a tough road for them in the SEC going forward. We'll do a little Tuesdays with Tiberi coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Common Man and T-Bone are idiots. You should listen to them anyway.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
The Fan, Ohio's idiot destination.
New 2024, up to 72 months Aria, N7A24.
Reichert Nissan has an announcement to make. 0% financing is now available for up to 72 months. Take a Reichert Nissan Aria home today and pay 0% for 72 months. But these low interest rates won't last long. Lock in your 0% financing at Reichert Nissan. Visit the Reichert Mega Mall off 270 and 33 or shop thousands of new and certified used at ReichertNissan.com.
Get the right car at Reichert.
We're dealing.
With approved credit. Residency restrictions apply. Offers cannot be combined. Dealer contribution affects consumer cost.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. I need you to listen up real quick. One of the largest manufacturers in the United States for CPAP machines recently announced they're suspending sales of all their breathing machines over problems with the devices. Millions of Philips Respironic ventilators and CPAP machines are being recalled now that they've reached a plea agreement with the FDA. That all doesn't sound good. And maybe you're thinking, yeah, that's why I'm not going to deal with my sleep apnea because I don't want to have a bulky CPAP. Well, this is where you need to call my guy, Dr. Mark Levy. Dr. Mark Levy has dedicated his practice to helping people who suffer from sleep apnea, and he can create a custom mouthpiece for you that stops your snoring and effectively treats your sleep apnea with no CPAP machine. Yeah, he's in network with most major medical insurers and is a Medicare provider too. This is Dr. Mark Levy's passion. He's been doing this a long time. He wants to help you with your sleep apnea and also make it so your partner doesn't want to murder you dead because you snore so much. So do what I did. Call Dr. Mark Levy today at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or book an appointment online at sleepbettercolumbus.com.
Welcome to Meijer. This week, you can buy 5, save $5. With so many mouths to feed, I love the buy 5, save $5 sale. Yeah, and don't forget, you can mix or match more than 1,500 items, like Pepperidge Farm Classic Buns, Coca-Cola or Pepsi products, plus deposit where applicable, and Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce.
Ooh, I'll look for those and lots more. Thanks.
Buy 5, save $5 this week at Meijer and pay the same low price in-store and online. Exclusions apply. See all deals in-store or in the Meijer app.
Want to see some football players try to play softball? Join us for Schmidt's Cardale Jones Charity Softball Game.
Why picnic when you can schmitnick? And presented by Monogram Homes and the U.S. Air Force. The Fan.
When you have to stop but don't really want to, stop at BP. Because BP has everything you need to keep it going. Fuel to keep the adventures going. The BP Me app to keep the savings and the commutes going. Snacks and drinks to keep the crew going. And the BP Me Rewards Visa to keep the rewards going and going and going. A stop at BP isn't a stop at all. Keep it going.
You know that thing you've always been too scared to go for? It seems like you'll never have the guts. Then a cancer diagnosis. And doing that thing becomes way less scary. I would know. I've always wanted a black belt. And today, the only thing standing in my way is a few wooden boards. It's been a lot of hard work and 5 years since I beat cancer at Ohio Health. Bring it on. You keep making plans.
Visit ohiohealth.com/keepmakingplans to learn more.
Marty Brenneman here for Tri-State Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health for treating erectile dysfunction and low testosterone issues. And they're the leader for a reason, because I can tell you from my own experience of being treated there, Tri-State Men's Health is top shelf. Far too many men wait to get their ED treated, but I want to tell you today that you shouldn't wait any longer. If you're suffering with ED and are like most guys, a medical team at Tri-State Men's Health will get you back on track fast. They have the experience, they have the treatment protocols, and they know what they're doing. At Tri-State Men's Health, they have ED treatments that are effective in well over 90% of men. They can even combine treatments for better results. You might even find yourself performing like you haven't in years. So make an appointment today. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. They have 6 offices in the tri-state area to serve you.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Bishop and Friends present Tuesdays with Tiberi.
Sponsored by Sears Heating and Cooling. Family owned since 1950.
All right, how's the dog?
The dog is done with the business. It's
thank
beautiful.
God.
I took her for a walk last night. We changed food on the dog. She's doing fantastic. She's calmed down. She's no longer possessed. You know, at one point I was thinking about getting a priest to come over and give her an exorcism.
I bet she has calmed down. So that'll be the last time you have to deal with that. That's just the
we'll
once,
go see the special doctor to take care of that business. You know?
Yeah. Oh, thank God.
But they said I should wait like a year to get it done, so I did what
You're
they
doing the
told.
right things. Yeah, you're doing the right things. But those were a tough 2 weeks or however long you were dealing with that, buddy.
Well, it was 3 weeks. 3 weeks of nonsense.
Yeah, it really was. Hey, were you rooting for Bob?
Yeah, I've always liked Bob. I have. And I wish he was another guy. I wish he would have stayed here because I enjoyed him. But, that there's nothing like a Game 7, is there? You know?
No, it's great.
And I'm happy for Bob. There's a lot of former Blue Jackets, by the way, that have won Stanley Cups. I wish they would have won them with Columbus, though, you know?
Yeah, I mean, and Billy Zito, who was here in the front office, he was the general manager for the Win yesterday as well in Florida. So yeah, there's a ton of them that have kind of done it. Sadly, they've just done it somewhere else.
I know. Yeah.
When you think about, I was talking about this off the top. Like, we don't really even have a point of reference on what that would be like. Like, you know, they started that thing really third week in April. Like the Edmonton Oilers' first Stanley Cup playoff game was April 22nd. Can you imagine that? Like, can you imagine covering that? Can you imagine what this city would be like if there was a 2-month kind of march towards Lord Stanley?
Well, you know, the year the Torts swept them, you know, we had a feeling, you know, and then we thought they were going to knock off Boston. And, you know, someone said, what do you think this is going to be like? I said, this city will go crazy. Yeah. I said, look at what they do for Ohio State football. And I said, someone said to me one time that, you know, they can't believe people go to as bad as the Blue Jackets were last year, that the way they were selling out. And I said, dude, you don't understand. We've become a hockey town. And these folks have embraced it. They love this team. And, you know, hockey is a sport that is best seen in person. It really is. Yeah. And the experience. You know, as much as we've become a hockey town, we've also become a soccer town. And it's really neat. I think it's neat that you have that diversity now other than Ohio State football. Ohio State football is always going to be king. But the fact that you have all these other venues, but the population's grown, and we've got a lot of people that have moved here from the East Coast. But the hockey fans, I think, I want so bad for the McConnell family that, have made this happen, and for the hockey fans to see some success, because they deserve it. And, it's not a cheap product. It's like what people don't understand, all these things. Going to a hockey game is no different than going out to a fancy restaurant going to a movie or whatever. You're all competing for that expendable dollar. Mm-hmm. And so, the expendable dollar to see hockey in Columbus, Ohio is not a cheap ticket. And that's why you want to see these guys succeed for the fans that are committed to this team, and they are committed to this team. It's going to be interesting to see who they get as the head coach. I thought it was kind of cool that Waddell said, we're in no hurry. Mm-hmm. We are the only team that is looking for a head coach. He's already said they're going to identify they want to get a veteran, that they've gone the young route. They're not doing that anymore. They're going to get a veteran. And he said, I've got a list of 12 names.
Yeah.
So that's where they're at.
Well, the thing that as you're kind of going through that, the thing that always jumped out to me was that, obviously Ohio State football is king, but also like you share Ohio State with the state, you share it with a Buckeye Nation, all of it. And I think one thing that the McConnells and the original ownership with the Crew, the Hunt family, one thing that I think a lot of them kind of saw, and certainly the current ownership of the Crew see it absolutely, is that there was something just for Columbus. Like, as you were saying that, I was curious, like, you were here when they were naming the franchise and stuff. Was there any push to make them the Ohio Blue Jackets, or was it always, was that even a conversation?
I don't ever remember any kind of conversation. I do remember when I got the tip that it was going to be the Blue Jackets, and I'm going, what is that? And, the connection to the Civil War and, the Blue Jackets, Fort Hayes and all that was a big Civil War camp. But, I don't know how many of us knew about that history, but I think it's cool. I like the fact that, they went that way. But, no, I never heard of it. And between you and me, I can't stand that Ohio stuff. Now, you're absolutely right. Ohio State is the college. In Cincinnati, it's a little bit weird, but Ohio State is the team in Cleveland. It's the team of the state. Mm-hmm. But I think the Blue Jackets have kind of filled that need around the state, and I think they've done a pretty good job of marketing. I think the Crew did a little bit of it, but now that Cincinnati's just down the road, that's created a pretty good rivalry. But I think you're absolutely right, and I think it is just for Columbus. And, the Crew have won 3 championships, and obviously winning the Stanley Cup would be just over the top if that could happen. It's crazy. You saw the emotion from those players last night. I mean, that's what those guys live for. I mean, and then, the fans would bask in that. We would have parades. We had a parade for the Crew last year, but we would have a parade for the Blue Jackets, I guarantee you.
Oh, my God, yeah. It would be unlike anything you'd seen. I mean, in terms of – I just think the length of it, right? I compared it earlier to, like, one of those March Madness runs, but that's just 3 weeks. You get to a Final Four, it's just 3 weeks. This is 2 months of build-up to it. I think it would be just absolutely, utterly sensational if they were able to pull it off. And, they just have never really gotten close. You mentioned that was 2019. They won 2 games in that second round against Boston, and then it was over. So, like, we've really never had it,
Yeah, I really thought that was their best shot, and I remember everyone cautioning us because, they swept through Tampa Bay, and everyone's thinking they were the number 1 seed, and they just swept them, and they got it. They came out like gangbusters on Boston, and then everyone was like cautioning us, hey, man, you got to understand, things can change in a hurry, and they were right, it did, but I thought they had a great shot. Hey, I wanted to tell you one other thing. I ran into your buddy, James Laurinaitis, yesterday.
Oh, okay. What was he up to?
And, the Buckeye Boosters held their golf tournament.
Oh,
I played in it over at the Ohio State Scarlet, my friend, and it was brutal, that golf course. What Jack did to it, oh my God, it is really hard. But James, I asked him about the comments that Tress and Urban made earlier in the week, that this may be the greatest assembled team that they and you can go to my Twitter and watch the interview. But James said that I said, "How much pressure is there?" You hear from he goes, "Pressure is privilege. You got to embrace it." But he said, talent does not win anything. He said, "You got to remember, it's great to have talent, but it wins nothing. Toughness wins." He goes, "Look at 2005. That was probably our best team. We won it in 2002, but 2005, and we lost 2 games that year." He said the 2015 Buckeyes, a year after they won the national title, that was probably a more talented team, and they didn't win it. They lost to Michigan State. So he said, talent does not win anything, but toughness does. And he said, that's what we're working at. So I enjoyed hearing him. That guy, you did a show with him a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I did.
You know him. I think
I know him
that
pretty
guy.
well. Yeah, I know him pretty well.
You know that guy.
He's got a hell of a beard, doesn't he? Have you seen that beard on him?
Yeah,
I mean, he looks great.
I asked him, I said, did your razor break? No, you know what? He looks like he could still play. You know it?
Yeah, I mean, you know him. I mean, he's always going to be in great shape and ready to roll, for sure.
I mean, I would pay money just to see him tackle you once.
Why would you want to do that? Why does he have to tackle me? Why can't he have him tackle Chops or Reese? Why do I got to be tackled? I don't need to be tackled.
Well,
I'm a man. I'm 40, for God's sakes.
He might hurt one of those guys, but I think, could handle it because you are from the Bronco busting days. It's nothing for you to have a couple broken ribs and then go saddle the horse and go back out.
Hey, my kid beat me.
Chaparral,
My kid beat me in golf Friday, Tommy. My 12-year-old.
How old is he?
12.
12-year-old?
Yeah, he shot 41.
He beat you?
He shot 41.
Oh, my goodness. Where was this at?
Our club, yeah. He shot 41. I shot 45, something like that.
Well, I got news for you. Little Dom, who's not so little, he's beating me like a drum. Beating me like a drum. But they hit it so much. I mean, my kid is out driving me by 150 yards.
Just hitting bombs. That's what happens.
Bombs. It's crazy.
All right, buddy. Good talking to you.
All right.
And
I'll see you, pal.
When you get the Laurinaitis, it's on your Twitter. You can get that interview.
Yeah, it's on there. You can watch it.
Right.
It's a little bit of a buzz. People are liking it. Check him out. He looks good.
He does look good. Yeah, I'm familiar with him. We'll hit good talking to you, my friend, as always.
See you, pal. Bye.
All right, Little Tuesdays with Tiberi on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. We had Thing or Not a Thing up next. Bishop and Friends are here on the Fan.
We know everything about you. We know you love the Buckeyes. We know you love the Jackets. We know you're wearing a red shirt. Just freak the hell out of someone. The Fan.
In a world without Mountain Dew, life would be pretty dull. So grab yourself a Mountain Dew and get that incomparable blast of neon citrus flavor. Hey, if you're not having an outrageously good time, you're not drinking Dew. Do the Dew.
Hey, Ohio! Make memories that will last a lifetime at the Ohio State Fair, July 24th through August 4th. Experience the food, entertainment, animals, shopping, rides, and more. July 24th through August 4th. Tickets on sale at ohiostatefair.com.
When I'm not voicing Wendy's ads, I'm gaming. I stay up and fueled because Wendy's delivers late.
Are you recording a Wendy's ad? Come on!
Got 'em. Whatever you're up for, we're down. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's Delivery Late Night. Open till midnight or later.
Hours and delivery availability may vary. The best of rivals, the best of two leagues meet again this summer. MLS versus Liga MX face off in the 2024 MLS All-Star, starting Sunday, July 21st. After a weekend of soccer celebrations, MLS All-Star Skills Challenge presented by AT&T will come to Lower.com Field on Tuesday, July 23rd, featuring MLS All-Stars versus Liga MX All-Stars as they show off the best of their skills. The two teams will match up once more at the 2024 MLS All-Star Game, presented by Target on Wednesday, July 24th. For more information on tickets and events, visit MLSsoccer.com/All-Star.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. When it comes to your roof, there's only one team to call, and that's the team at Newman Roofing. They're professionals. They'll be with you to support you throughout the whole process from the first phone call to the end. You'll work with their great team, so go check them out. Newman Roofing, the company you can trust. 614-NEW-ROOF or newmanroofing.com.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for over 30,000 mouth-watering choices with savings beyond low prices, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. More savings and more inspiring flavors make Kroger worth it every time. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
During our 99 cents produce sale, Cosmic Crisp apples and Roma tomatoes are 99 cents a pound, and corn is 3 for 99 cents with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Morning Juice.
The secret to success is just outwork people every day. Just do a little more than everybody all the time, the best you can, and you'll figure it out. Like, things will generally work out for you.
Morning Juice.
Sponsored by Affinity Whole Health.
Weekday mornings at 6. The Fan.
At Hollywood Casino Columbus, you're always in the driver's seat. Don't miss our $50,000 trucker cash giveaway at Hollywood Columbus. Pick between driving off in a brand new 2025 Ram 1500 or $40,000 in Penn slot play or $30,000 in cash. Grand prize awarded on Saturday, June 29th. Earn entries on your slot and table gameplay all month long. For more information, visit HollywoodColumbus.com. Must be 21 or over to play. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
It was a quiet night in Columbus, maybe a little too quiet. Me, Philip Flapper, plumbing detective. I was finishing up for the night when she walked in. Long hair, 2 legs, a couple of arms, a nose, elbows. Pretty standard equipment for this neighborhood. I looked at her, she looked at me, and then we did that thing where we both spoke at the same time. What can I do for you? I'm sorry, that was awkward. We went on to talk about clogs, funny odors, water going down the drain too slow. This is above my pay grade, I told her, and gave her this website, apexpros.com. They're the pros who knows, the kinds of plumbers who don't mind getting their hands dirty. And believe me, what's down those pipes is dirty. Ugh, call the pros, Apex Pros. And that was it. She walked out of my life, using those legs I told you about earlier.
Hi, it's Alex, the friendly Apex Bear from Apex Pros. Apex plumbers are the pros who knows. ApexPros.com.
Common Man here for Jermaine Lexus of Dublin and Easton. If you listen to my show every day, congratulations, you're getting the best. Now I want you to drive the best. But unlike the lie I told before, Jermaine Lexus really is the best. I just picked up my brand new RX 350 a few weeks ago. It is fabulous. They want to make you a customer for life. Right now, rates are as low as 1.9%. Lease payments are as low as $489 a month. And the Memorial Courtesy vehicles are now on the lot. Jermaine Lexus of Dublin and Easton. Check them out online, JermaineLexus.com. Tell them Common Man sent you.
Want to know anything about the Fan's contest, how to win, or what's up for grabs? Check out 971thefan.com. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Sports conversation that's worthy of a toast, or at least a stiff drink. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, time for a little thing or not a thing. Hit it, fellas.
Thing or not a thing.
Sponsored by Apex Plumbing Pros.
We talked a little bit about J.J. Redick and his introductory press conference with the Lakers. Here's another thing from it when he was asked about the topic of continuing his podcast that he hosts with LeBron James. Quote, for the time being, and hopefully it's a very, very long time, I am excommunicated from the content space, so there will be no podcast. I'm done with podcasting for now, end quote. Thing or not a thing?
Well, not a thing. I mean, I think we all assumed that that would be the case, that he would stop doing that. I think what it'll be curious, because him and LeBron talked almost omnisciently.
Well, not during the process.
No, but almost when they would do their podcast, almost like omnisciently about how to go through and build offensive sets. Like that was their whole thing was X's and O's. Like that was their whole thing. Does that apply? Does their brilliance in X's and O's, does that apply to them next season, and does it make a damn bit of difference? That I think, for people who follow it regularly, that will be very interesting to me. But him not doing a podcast, yeah, that's not a thing because it's a no-brainer. You're not going to do that while being the head coach of the Lakers.
Yeah, this isn't a thing. A lot from his press conference yesterday isn't a thing because, yeah, I'm with you. And I think a lot of people are just, we got to see it. We got to see how this works once you guys get into camp, once you guys get into the preseason, then once you guys get into the regular season, how all this transpires on the court. Because we all feel that LeBron's just the player coach, and it's going to be him and JJ figuring out what to do with this roster that, I don't know, they've got to figure out. And by them, I mean LeBron, JJ, and now Rob Pelinka have to figure out what to do with before the season even begins.
Yeah.
Kind of messy. Let's do a little choose your own adventure here. You want to do WNBA ratings or a poor summer for Drake continues?
Drake.
So the Six God last night posted a pair of betting slips on his Instagram account, both $500,000 wagers, one for the Dallas Mavericks to win the NBA championship and another for the Edmonton Oilers to win Lord Stanley's Cup. Again, gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER, but $1 million on 2 failed bets. Thing or not a thing?
I would imagine for him it's not a thing. I'm guessing he can probably handle that. Do you think that he would rather have won those 2 bets or had Kendrick Lamar not take the stage?
Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah,
for sure.
Because he body bagged him, right? Where's their beef from? What's that beef about?
So I was asking J-Lo about this. Apparently, J. Cole and Drake did a song together. And in the song, at a certain point, J. Cole says something about the big three, referring to himself, Drake, and Kendrick. Then Kendrick came out saying, there is no big three, there's just me. Then Drake responded, and then Kendrick responded. J. Cole responded like once and then like got out of it and was like, I'm not for this. But they've gone back and forth, and it appears Kendrick has won.
It feels like that, yeah.
That's the Cliff Notes of it.
Yeah, okay.
I've had this for a long time. Drake is a loser. I do not like Drake. I think he is.
I'll second that.
I just don't think he's that cool of a guy. I don't think his music is all that great. I know a lot of people like it, and I'm not saying I'm not a music aficionado, so I'm not saying that in like an objective way. I'm saying it in a subjective way. I don't like it, and I think he just insists upon himself, and he's always jumping onto bandwagons and doing all this stuff. And look at me, I've got my name on the side of a plane. I don't like the guy, so I'm all for this, and I'm glad he lost $1 million. Bet on winners.
I think once he showed up like in the layup line at Kentucky basketball, that probably sealed the deep deal for me that like, what are you doing, man?
More than 24 players at Campbell University have entered college baseball's transfer portal since the end of the season, many of whom having done so in the last few days since the departure of longtime head coach Justin Hare to Ohio State. 24/7 Sports has been able to independently confirm 14 players who are leaving, many of which announced Monday on social media with the following message. Due to recent coaching changes at Campbell University, I've decided to enter the transfer portal along with their remaining years of eligibility and personal contact information. Among the players who have announced over the past 48 hours includes pitchers Nathan Britton, Drew Singer, Garrett Kangas, Jackson Roberts, David Rosso, outfielder Joe Simpson, and slugger Peyton Bonds, the nephew of Barry Bonds.
There you go.
Among others, outfielder Dallin Thompson, one of the Camels' top players, committed to NC State earlier this month from the transfer portal, while Reed Stallman, another everyday bat in Campbell's lineup, has committed to Mississippi State. John Jeans, an assistant coach and recruiting coordinator for Southern Union, wrote Monday, the number of departures at Campbell has swelled to 30, nearly the entire starting roster and pitching staff. Thing or not a thing?
So I don't even know where Campbell is as an institution. It's in the South would be my hunch, but I don't have a clue. The state, is it North Carolina? That's my best guess. Here's what I would say on this. This is only a thing if a bunch of these guys are coming here.
Buies Creek, North Carolina? It's in North Carolina. Good job.
Nailed it. Yeah, like how many of these guys are coming here? Because they were really good. So, like, are we going to get some of these cats? That's where I'm interested in it, if it happens here. But also this, from the other side of it, this is where we are in modern college athletics, where you're going to have complete roster turnover year to year. And this rule about this thing about a coach leaves and everybody can. I mean, I guess there's no limit on you leaving anywhere.
Now, yeah.
Anybody can transfer anywhere, but it's just so brutal to try to build a 30-person roster from scratch every year. They've got to get contracts, and they've got to start paying these guys. It's their only way to get control over it.
Yeah, I'm interested because I don't think that any schools, at least north of the Mason-Dixon, operate baseball in a revenue like it in the green. So
I wouldn't think.
You know, that I'm very interested because it's what, like 2 of Ohio State's 36 varsity sports do, and it's men's football and obviously football and men's basketball. So I'm interested to see what that looks like here in the coming years because Ross Bjork says they're revenue sharing everybody equally. So
we'll get to him in a second. There's a lot coming down the pipe where he's concerned.
But I guess I say all of that to say that this is a thing with all of these players popping in the portal. Not only are some of them, a good chunk of them probably following their head coach, but also seeing, whoa, here's another opportunity for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and good on them.
Yeah, we're just talking about Dalton Connect in basketball, but the idea of like get better in college at a smaller school, and then you can jump up to an SEC program or follow your coach to a Big Ten program.
All right, so we got some numbers from the third installment of Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese in the WNBA. That game on Sunday that the Chicago Sky won did 2.3 million viewers on ESPN. It's slightly more than the 2.25 million who watched the second installation of Fever Sky. That was last week on CBS, which at that time was the most watched WNBA game in 23 years. Thing or not a thing?
I mean, it's a huge thing, and there's no precedent for it.
No, and we're a month plus and, over a month into the season at this point, and they are still getting these kind of numbers. And so there is something.
She is.
Yeah, she is specifically, and then it gets supercharged when she goes up against Angel Reese. So that's still what I'm looking at. Is I want to see what the numbers that didn't include Caitlin Clark for like the season compare to previous seasons.
Don't you think it's double? I would bet it's double.
We were looking. It was wasn't it like averaging 500,000 previously? So,
well, it's more than that'd be quadruple if that was the case. You mentioned Ross Bjork and the job ahead. New baseball coach Justin Hare with some interesting comments to the Dispatch, and it got us thinking about the path Bjork is going to have to try and chart for the athletic department. It's a big one. It's a challenging one. What is most important to you? We'll get to that coming up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
1, 2, 3. Here at The Fan is always football o'clock. Proud to be your home of the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. The Fan.
Whether you're popping the question or ready to say I do, there's only one true jeweler to shop for your one true love. Hi, it's Alex Johnson from the Diamond Cellar. As a true jeweler, we not only have luxury designer collections to meet your bridal needs, but we also have talented in-house designers who can create something truly one of a kind. For more than 75 years, our expert staff has been caring for couples just like you and providing the absolute lowest prices guaranteed. Visit the Diamond Cellar on Sawmill Road or Easton Town Center. The possibilities are endless.
Hi, I'm Joanna Williams, here to introduce you to Tansky Power Sports. That's right, check out our growing inventory of golf carts, electric bikes, and dirt bikes. And the fleet keeps growing. This month, come rent a golf cart for the 4th of July. We're located at 2491 West Dublin Granville Road in Columbus. Visit TanskyPowersports.com to book yours today. And when you think power sports, think Tansky.
Think Tansky. Think Tansky.
Cool savings at Logan AC and Heat Services. Get 0% APR financing for 72 months. It's hard to stop a train with a system for every home and budget. Book your free estimate now. Logan Services.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Austin Ward here with a question for you. Did you take Awaken 180 up on the offer to drop 40 pounds by the 4th? If you did, next week you'll reach the goal. Congrats. If you didn't, call Awaken 180. Why not do it now? Fast weight loss, easy weight loss, and then free support for life.
What's wrong?
My travel rewards card didn't earn enough miles for my vacation.
Are you crying? Are you crying because of that other credit card?
Uh-huh.
Well, switch to the Capital One Venture card. Venture lets you redeem miles on any travel purchase.
Really?
Yep, and you earn unlimited double miles on every purchase every single day. The Capital One Venture card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Need assistance with door and window projects? The Home Depot can help. From inspiration and materials to ordering and installation, our free Millwork virtual apron service can get you moving and doing. Plus, we speak Spanish too. Our associates can help you tackle complex jobs without you leaving the job site, saving you time and money. Call us at 1-833-HD-APRON or visit homedepot.com/MVA. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. The Panthers won the Stanley Cup Monday night, beating the Oilers 2-1 in Game 7. Next up's the NHL Draft. That's Friday night at the Sphere in Las Vegas. Blue Jackets have the 4th overall pick there and are reportedly interviewing coaching candidates this week in Vegas. We'll have live draft coverage on The Fan Friday night at 7. In baseball, the Clippers are back at Huntington Park to begin a homestand against the Omaha Storm Chasers. First pitch for Tuesday's Diamond Dog Night, 7:05. On Wednesday, Guardians righty Gavin Williams is expected to make another rehab start in Columbus. Williams. Williams is expected to be recalled to Cleveland sometime next week. He's missed time with a right elbow injury. Speaking of the Guardians, they're at Camden Yards tonight at 6:35 against the Orioles. As for Cincinnati, the Reds continue a homestand against the Pirates tonight at 7:10. Redlegs ran the Buccos last night 11-5. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Drink recommendations, movie reviews, sports discussion, and whatever the hell Reeser does. This is Bishop and Friends.
Final hour here on a Tuesday. Got this from Ian on social. I'm a listener from Central Ohio, also a Penn State fan. When listening to your segment about Penn State and DJ McClary, I found your guys' takes to be slightly misinformed. I just want to add some context and defend Penn State. Hope you guys will listen. Yeah, we will. I'm down for that. This was a story we did. We did this at 10:20 about how Penn State had lost the recruit to Rutgers. So here's the context for me, and I'm all for context. Certainly, we're not covering the recruiting battles on Penn State and Rutgers very often. Ian, with this, DJ was a Manny Diaz recruit. Once Manny Diaz left for Duke, Tom Allen took over. McClary started looking elsewhere due to his relationship with Diaz. Another key context is that McClary is much more of a project than his ranking would indicate. Losing him to Rutgers not nearly as big a blow as it seems. In other players, you failed to mention, and then Zahir Mathis is visiting Penn State this weekend. He's a Buckeye commit, so those type of things. I tell you, if they flip him, then that's something we'll be paying attention to. It's one thing to visit; it's another thing to actually to flip them.
From a place like Ohio State, yeah.
Yes, correct. So then he concludes with this, the key positive you guys did not bring up, which is fair. We're not doing Penn State football every day. But this is the part that I did think was interesting. Not to mention we have won 17 straight against Rutgers. Rutgers is not our rival. Penn State is much closer to Ohio State than Rutgers is to Penn State. No hate. I'm just trying to shed more light. Certainly we are well aware of that. I'm just not sure people at Penn State are aware of that. Remember, our beef with Penn State consistently is that they don't expect enough of themselves. That Penn State should operate like Ohio State, like Michigan. Penn State should operate and chase like Notre Dame does. They should not punch down, which is something they consistently do. Remember, Ian, it was their choice not to play Ohio State every year and not to play Michigan every year. Who would ever choose to do that? Because I agree with you. They are obviously far closer to Ohio State than they are to Rutgers. Everybody knows that. But they choose not to play them in the coming seasons. And that, to me, is nonsense. That's my issue with Penn State. Anytime we have Rich on, anytime we talk Penn State football, my consistent tone is, why aren't they expecting more? Why isn't Penn State better than what they've been?
And yeah, my concern with Penn State in that factor is that, yes, right now they are a lot closer to Ohio State. They play them close just about every time that they do play. But I think that gap has a chance to widen while Rutgers is getting better. And is the rest of the Big Ten going to get better? Is that gap going to shorten over the years? And eventually they will be closer to that. It just doesn't feel like Penn State has set themselves up consistently to get to that next level. What are they trying to do to get ahead of Ohio State? Because that's what Michigan did. They said, okay, we will do anything we have to do to make sure that we get ahead. And some of that maybe had gone into the cheating world. But is Penn State approaching it that way? It doesn't always feel like that.
Yeah, I just keep going back to how I don't know if unorganized with their name, the collective and name, image, and likeness and recruiting like big name players. But, the quarterback Aller they got from Ohio was because Ohio State had a quarterback room that they were like, we're good with. And now you think about what Penn State's best weapon's going to be is Julian Fleming, who Ohio State said, we're good with.
Yeah. So I just want them to punch at their weight. I love it. I've said many, many times, it's my favorite place. Absolutely my favorite place to go in the Big Ten. And that's including the drive, which is brutal. But once you get there, it's awesome. Think about what I'm willing to do. Think about me saying Penn State's my favorite road trip in the Big Ten. You are going to stay in a dump hotel. Fact. You're going to pay an extraordinary amount to stay in the dump hotel, and you're going to have to drive a long way to get there. And it still is so good once you're there that I'm willing to deal with it.
One last thing on the Penn State in this recruiting story is, and I approach this with Ohio State too, no, I don't get too worked up over one individual player, but it is something I think to keep an eye on. Is this going to become a trend or something with Penn State? Because we were just having this discussion with USC last week about, it looks like their defensive recruiting is falling apart.
Yes. Yeah. So you're
starts
looking
with
for
one
trends.
guy, but is it going to be multiple guys, or is this is it the context around it? And it's like, okay, there were extenuating circumstance why this guy flipped.
Do we real quick?
Go ahead, Reese.
I was going to say, do we real quick want to get mad about some toughest places to play rankings?
We're going to do that at 11:20. Okay. I saw it. We got it.
I feel like that. Why don't we just save it for Thursday and do higher or lower?
Maybe we can do. Well, I can't wait that long. One thing I learned about doing this is like when you have an idea, you have to do it.
Yeah.
Because something else, we'll worry about Thursday's show on Thursday.
Yeah,
so we'll do that
at touch it today.
We'll get it today. We'll get it at 11:20. I did want to get into this conversation. These comments from Justin Hare to the Dispatch. He's your new baseball coach at Ohio State. I read it this morning in the Skull session. Good job at a Chase as always. He writes, and this is from the piece in the Dispatch, and this is Hare's quote: "Big piece of knowing who you are is knowing who you're not." So all of a sudden that checks every box with me, because what do we live by? A man's got to know his limitations. So that's exactly what that is. So then he continues, Mr. Bjork's been at Texas A&M and Ole Miss. He's been in some of those SEC places, and he was just very honest, like, hey, we're wanting to compete and be at the highest level, but the resources are not that. The NIL capability for baseball is not the same as it is in some of those SEC places. That is the most honest reality of where we are in college athletics. You had Tennessee win the College World Series last night in dramatic fashion. Awesome 2 weeks in Omaha. You say, hey, why can't we have that? Because you have to choose. You have to choose. You can't be great at everything. Not when you have 33 sports the way that Ohio State does. If they were to do the SEC model and go to 17, 18 sports, then by God, you could do it. So just for some perspective to just understand how the money is being spent. Last year, Ohio State reported a revenue of $279,549,337. That's the number. That's how much money Ohio State made. It was an 11% increase from the previous year in terms of their total revenue. But on that, they reported a profit of just $4.6 million. So, in other words, they're spending a lot of their money year in and year out. And when you have 33 sports the way Ohio State does, 16 men, 17 women's, they also have 3 mixed teams, so that's upwards of 36. It's 1,000 student athletes that they're trying to pay for. Conversely, these schools that are winning national championships like Tennessee, I think the SEC's won the last 5 baseball championships, 5 in a row. They're not doing 36 teams. Most of them, we looked a lot of these up. It's 18, it's 16, it's 15, it's in that realm. They're spending their money on different things. And the same thing goes with NIL. We have a lot of fun with Mike Brown and his pie, but there's only so much, right? So when you start thinking about the idea of, hey, how are we going to allocate this money, whether it's an NIL or your athletic department, you have to make the decision of how are we going to best serve to spend our money. And for the longest time, Ohio State has tried to be Alabama in football, North Carolina in men's basketball, UConn in women's basketball, and Stanford in everything else. If you want to be great at the ones that draw the eyeballs, then you can't go about it that way. You've got to get rid of the Stanford part of the model. And I think those are questions that Bjork's going to have to answer for going forward. Now, if you're curious, so television revenue last year was just under $50 million. So we know that's going way up.
Yeah.
With the new television deal. That's going to go up upwards of $25 million or something. We don't know the exact numbers, but it's going way up. So there's going to be even more money to spend. And it's just going to be up to Bjork to decide how he wants to spend it and what he wants Ohio State athletics to be. Is there enough juice in the squeeze? Is there enough juice in the squeeze for these deep non-revenue sports, for lack of a better term, that are quite honestly a little fringy? Are you getting your money's worth out of that?
When you're talking about that chart and revenues and profits and all that stuff, I mean, that kind of lays it out there of like what the athletic department has to decide. Do you want the largest athletic department with the most opportunity for the most athletes to compete for the most championships? Or does that shrink and you want to invest in things that are going to return some revenue and hopefully into the profit part of that? And baseball, I think, has shown over the last few years. Now, the northern teams don't really compete all that well, and the Big Ten doesn't have a big showing at the College World Series. But the teams that do get to the College World Series, people are into it, and they get around it. And so can baseball be something where it's never going to equal anywhere near what men's basketball and especially football make? But can it be something where it becomes a revenue generator, that people are going to Bill Davis Stadium to go see that? And that's something that Ross Bjork is going to have to weigh the chances of, okay, do we actually go all in on some of these other sports that can be turned into profit centers for us? Or do we stick with the line of Ohio State cares about being the largest athletic department? I'm not sure which is the right answer, and I'm not sure which one will be successful. That's, again, it's one of those situations where that's why Ross Bjork gets paid a lot of money, and I'm here on the radio.
Well, you don't know, and you can only estimate. You can only guess. You can only make an educated guess as to what your payouts are going to be when next fall rolls around, when you start sharing the revenue from television deals. And once you actually get into it and figure out here's what, the 22%, what we're actually going to pay out, then I think start to have those real conversations, because it's nice to say now that you want to do all of this, but when you have the numbers just a guesstimate, once the number starts becoming real, then everything else, I think, becomes, you just face that, what could be an ugly reality for some of these sports.
Ohio State, for the longest time, took such, and still does, it's really the hallmark of Gene and Andy before that, this great pride in we are the biggest, we want to be the biggest of everything. Biggest school, biggest football program, biggest stadium, biggest athletic department, all of those things. But is that what the alumni want? Do you still want that? Is that something that is still important? Or in this day and age, a lot like what's happened in football attendance, is the right sports? Would you rather compete in the right sports? And I don't know how you define what those are. I don't know if it's baseball. I mean, the traditional, the semi-traditional non-revenues that people are watching a lot of now are softball and baseball and a little bit lacrosse. Like there's a couple in there that kind of have some niche. I mean, certainly the baseball and the softball do, absolutely. But and wrestling, so what are the ones that are going to be, these are the ones we're going to be really good at, and let's not do these ones. There's some of the ones that Ohio State does that aren't even sports in the state of Ohio at a high school level.
Yeah,
for the longest time.
There's ones that they compete in that there's only 5 other schools that compete in it, and that's why they're always so competitive. But they do a good job when you are there as a student and ingraining, liking that stuff and having this huge athletic department. Because I can't tell you how many times people know, usually as a joke, but they still knew it. The idea that the synchronized swimming team always wins the national championship, the pistol and rifle team is really good. But I think there's a part that you get that while you're in school, and then as an alumni, you still want to puff your chest out for it. But if I'm being honest, I've never watched an Ohio State synchronized swimming routine.
No.
And I wouldn't notice if they didn't compete for an entire season.
No, you wouldn't. These are the decisions Ross is going to have to make going forward, because this is all going to change, and revenue sharing and part of it's all going to change. So he's got to find ways to maximize what Ohio State is and make money, find hidden money, which he's going to find a lot of with naming rights on the football field, naming rights on the jerseys, all of that stuff. You're going to see all of that. But also what makes fiscal sense year in, year out for that athletic department, and what sports survive and what ones don't. I think the days of 36 sports are going the way of the dodo bird, quite honestly. All right, so you asked for it. We'll give it to you. Toughest places to play according to the new EA Sports video game. Where do the Buckeyes land on that? And which ones do we think are under? There's a couple that they got just dead wrong. We'll get to that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
A lot of hosts have been on our airways in the past 30 years. Some good, some bad, some really bad. Anyway, sorry for that. The Fan.
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's got to be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC.
Now at White Castle, you can get 12 chicken rings for just $3.99. Tender on the inside, crispy on the outside. Choose from classic, Hidden Valley Ranch, or new smoky barbecue. White Castle. Follow your crave. Limited time only at participating castles. Tax not included.
Common Man here for Jermaine Lexus of Dublin and Easton. If you listen to my show every day, congratulations, you're getting the best. Now I want you to drive the best. But unlike the lie I told before, Jermaine Lexus really is the best. I just picked up my brand new RX 350 a few weeks ago. It is fabulous. They want to make you a customer for life. Right now, rates are as low as 1.9%. Lease payments are as low as $489 a month. And the Memorial Courtesy vehicles are now on the lot. Jermaine Lexus of Dublin and Easton. Check them out online, JermaineLexus.com. Tell them Common Man sent you.
Are your feet stopping you from being active and making it difficult to get healthier? Trade in your bad feet and start the new year with good feet and get healthy in 2024. Wouldn't it be nice to work, walk, and play pain-free again?
Hey, welcome to the IKEA Midsummer Sale. Hello. Save up to 50% on outdoor furniture and indoor essentials and have your best summer.
Oh, how about storage for my inflatable flamingos?
We've got you covered. Let's turn your space into a summer haven with space for birds.
Awesome.
Visit us in store from June 12th to July 9th or at IKEA-USA.com/midsummer. Offer valid dates may vary. U.S. only while supplies last. Selection may vary by store and online. See store and IKEA-USA.com/midsummer for complete terms. Restrictions apply.
The Buckeye Show.
What were you guys yelling on the Braxpin play? The payback game against
You know what
Virginia
I said?
Tech?
Well, everybody said, he's back. He's back. That's what everybody was saying.
The Buckeye Show.
Sponsored by CareSource.
Weeknights at 6 on The Fan.
We always come through for you when you need us to. That's ECO's promise to you. And for AC repair and installation, that means today, not tomorrow. If you have an air conditioning breakdown, we'll get a tech out to your home today. Or we'll give you a year's EcoFi Advantage membership for free. And make no mistake, we're a repair, not replace company. Our techs are trained to give you all your repair options. Sometimes, though, it just makes more financial sense to replace. And that's where we really come through for you when you need us to. Because we'll replace your AC system same day. No sleeping overnight in a hot, humid house. Or we'll take $1,500 off the cost of your new system and provide you with portable AC units for your bedroom. That's what coming through for you when you need us to means. So if you need AC repair, call ECO for same-day service. We'll get your home cool again. We'll make it happen today.
At GetEco.com.
I've always wanted 3 kids. I came from a family of 3 kids, and I started picturing having 3 car seats in the back of my truck.
That's Megan, Wisconsin native, working mom of 2 and lifelong conservative. Megan never thought she would get an abortion until a diagnosis late in her pregnancy changed everything.
Doctors told us our baby had no chance to survive. And because of Wisconsin's abortion ban, I would be forced to carry my baby for months, knowing he would die. It felt like a bad dream. It felt like a bad dream.
To get the care she needed, Megan had to leave the state. And now if senators in Washington pass a national abortion ban, families like Megan's will have nowhere to turn.
These decisions should be made privately amongst women and their families. And government should have no say in that. No senator in Washington should support a national abortion ban.
Paid for by Free and Just. Visit freeandjust.us to learn more.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Look for partly cloudy skies with a few afternoon showers, high 89. Some much needed rainfall is on the way through your Wednesday. It'll be dry Wednesday morning. Wednesday afternoon, look for some heavy showers, high 84. Rainfall amounts will be about a ½ inch to an inch. Thursday and Friday will be drier and cooler. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your Doppler 10 forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
Distilled sports discussion served in light beer quantities. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Well, if you're like me and many of you out there, you're suffering from low testosterone, and it's tough. It can cause a host of problems: low sex drive, bad sleep patterns, unproductive workout, decreased energy, brain fog. So many issues can crop up. Many men just attribute these symptoms to aging and don't consider there are real medical treatments that can give them back their vigor and vibrancy. If you're feeling like this, and I certainly was, the sleep, absolutely, the lack of energy, it's time for you to treat your low T. And that's where my friends at Tri-State Men's Health can help you out in a very, very big way. Go to tristatemenshealth.com, take the low T quiz on the website. If the symptoms apply to you, then you schedule that consult with Tri-State Men's Health. They're going to do your lab work. They're going to results. It's about 30 minutes. I went through it. It was awesome. It was quick. It was discreet. A licensed medical provider then is going to review your results with you, discuss your options. They're going to have to make a decision together on the medical team in terms of what your treatment pattern will be. The cost of that appointment is $99. It includes the consult, the T and PSA test. If you sign up like I did, that appointment is going to be free. 6 total offices, 2 here in town, 800-900-9654. Visit tristatemenshealth.com. The 2 in town, of course, right off of 270 in Hilliard, quick exit, and then near Medical Mile in Westerville on that. Ross Dellinger with this. Toughest places to play. So this is in the new EA Sports College. By the way, my kids are out of their minds excited for this. Like they are, everyone, they'll fire up the Xbox. They're like, Dad, it's out. I'm like, no, it's not. It's not out. But it's right here. I'm like, no. That's a pre-buy, which is fine. We can do that. But it is definitely not. Their excitement level for it is unlike anything I've seen, even like a Fortnite drop.
You know what's crazy? I saw somebody on Twitter be like, EA's really dropping the bag here. Like, they're not promoting this or marketing this game right. And it's like, 1, did you forget marketing costs money and they probably don't want to spend too much money? And 2, that's because they don't need to pay for the marketing. No. It has already marketed itself to anyone who would ever be interested in this game. Even your children have already taken notice.
They know. They're locked in.
Yeah,
and everybody, go ahead.
Do you think there's a person that's like, oh, there's a college football video game coming out? Oh, I might be interested in that. Tell me more, please.
So if you have, we have the Xbox Live thing, so you can download games. Mm-hmm. There are games that are free, I guess. I think that's how it works. And then I pay a certain amount a month for that subscription. So it's been, in the store for a month. At least to pre-buy. It's ready to go. They can't wait. Okay, so in the game, they're now trickling. And by the way, this is their PR. They're not paying Ross Dellinger to put this out. They're not paying us to talk about it, but we are. So this is their marketing. They're doing it. They're having their influencers do it.
They probably sent a press release to their guys and just said, no question. Here's the list. Do what you want.
So in the new video game scheduled to be released in the middle of July, the game's rankings for the toughest places to play in college football, they factored in historical home win percentage, home attendance, etc. So they have number 1 on this list, Kyle Field at Texas A&M. Now, I have not been to Kyle Field. I have buddies of mine who do a football trip every year, and they have. And the consensus that they had from Kyle Field was that it's weird. That was it. Because they have those yell leader guys, and they got all of those guys that do all their act, that there's that part of it. So that's secondhand. That's not firsthand. You guys haven't been to A&M, right?
No.
One's been? Yeah.
But is weird advantageous to your home field advantage? Maybe.
I don't know. I think the other thing that's hard to separate here is, so I've been to, 6 or 7 on this list. And Ohio Stadium, by the way, is 4, which I think is very fair. I think that's about right for Ohio Stadium. I think actually Penn State is too low. Penn State is 6. I say that while also acknowledging that the only time I've been to Penn State is for a whiteout at night when they're playing Ohio State. So, that's Apex Penn State. So I don't know what Penn State's like at noon on a Saturday when they're playing Rutgers. I don't have a point of reference on that. I've only been there for their best games. I would say that Ohio Stadium at night is as good as any, with just a couple of exceptions. The only places I've been that are consistently louder than Ohio Stadium at night are Tiger Stadium at LSU, Ben Hill Griffin, the Swamp in Florida, and Beaver Stadium at Penn State. Those are the 3 and all of those. Now, Florida, I have point of references on good games and bad games, so you can tell the difference when they have a big one there and when they're humming. That's it. The proximity at the Swamp from the fans to the field is nothing. I mean, they are right on top. There's no space.
Kinnick Stadium is just like that, too.
Right. I've heard that one is, too. So it's right there. And at Tiger Stadium, the only time I was at Tiger Stadium was when Tebow and those guys went in there and lost. And it was nuts. Absolutely nuts. But I don't know what it's like at noon on a Saturday when they're playing Louisiana Lafayette. I don't know that. So I think that's the hard thing here is judging it at their absolute best. Those are the ones that I would have ahead of Ohio Stadium, but only those 3.
Yeah, judging it at their apex, I think, is the way you have to do it, because the way that programs and the way college football works is No, there are sleepy days when you're playing MAC teams or lesser Big Ten teams in the Horseshoe. The students are late arriving. Nobody ever really gets up and makes a ton of noise because the game's in hand by the end of the first quarter. But it's not like some of these other teams don't have this. The one thing I'll say about Ohio Stadium, because I do think it gets to that factor, but they're always in their games. Ohio State almost never gets to pull an upset at home. So I don't have as many memories with Ohio Stadium of like thinking like, ooh, the stadium was a real factor in like why they won this game. And I think that like with all the Iowa games that I've watched, that I've seen that from like remember the game at Penn State where they couldn't get a snap off because the crowd was too loud. It's like, well, Penn State was better than Iowa, but like the stadium made an actual full on noticeable impact. Ohio State has games where you don't notice the 100,000 people there as much, but when they are on and it is a big game under the lights, then it gets rocking.
Trying to think. So the 2011 Ohio State-Wisconsin game, because I'm looking to see if Russell Wilson at any point in his career, yeah, he did, but NC State played at any of these.
Oh, that one affected him.
Yeah.
Well, was it that one? That was the last one my mom was at. Was that one?
That was pretty raucous.
That was raucous. Like, so they have Neyland Stadium 13. So if and I know a couple of buddies who went to the Tennessee-Alabama game last year. I'm guessing that felt like better than 13.
Right.
You know, like that impact. There was an impact on that game that was had.
I also think
Saban's always complaining about Brian Denny for those afternoon games. Like, it's nuts at night. And that same buddy of mine group that they've been to Alabama a couple times, and they're like, Alabama's amazing. Like, it's their favorite is Alabama.
It doesn't appear that they went straight just like, oh, all the 100,000 seaters are going to be up here. It's mixed in a little bit, but the 100,000ers do get a boost. But like Michigan comes in at number 16. The Big House just doesn't do a good job of funneling the sound in. It funnels right out.
It's a hole.
But I think from EA Sports' perspective, to do historic win percentage at home is not the same as tough stadium to play in.
Okay. Camp Randall is not 7.
It has jump around, though.
Way too high.
I was just about to say, but jump around.
I mean, I remember talking to Joe Thomas about this. Like, they're like, oh, is the game started? Because they're just tailgating. Like, sometimes they don't even know if Wisconsin is a home game. Yeah, when they play Ohio State, it is. Camp Randall is not louder than the Swamp. It's not louder than Doak Campbell. It's not louder than Clemson. No chance. No chance that in that instance. Like, I'm glad they have jump around. It's cool, but I think that's way too high. 7? That's too much. They're only one spot behind Penn State on this list. Come on. See, they don't need marketing.
It's a good job. It's a good job out of them.
It is. They don't need marketing. They got it.
But you said you've been to 4?
No, I've been to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay,
8,
yeah.
9.
Thought that sounded
10,
low for you. Because then
11, 12. I've been to 12 of them.
I think I've been to 5. Ohio Stadium, Michigan, Virginia Tech, Iowa, and Notre Dame.
Virginia Tech, huh?
Yeah, we went out there. We went out there for that one when they played on Labor Day. That was my senior year. So the Braxton Spin and everything. Yeah, that was really cool. And so that was under the lights and Enter Sandman and all that stuff. And all the tailgaters were very nice. I crashed a few tailgates even too.
Also, Oklahoma, Clemson, Alabama. Come up with a name for your stadium.
Well,
you can't just be Memorial.
Well, they all were in those days. Isn't Oklahoma's the Gaylord family, right? Gaylord family, Oklahoma Memorial.
Yeah. Indiana plays it. I think Indiana's Memorial
Clemson's
Stadium, too.
Death Valley. It's funny to call it Memorial and not Death
I didn't
Valley.
actually know the official name for Clemson
I've
Stadium.
never heard it called Memorial Stadium. I've been there twice. I've never heard it called
Illinois is a Memorial Stadium, and I think Nebraska might be a Memorial Stadium as well.
Right.
We always call it you're playing just at Tuscaloosa, not Memorial Stadium.
Right, yeah. All right, Porty with some context on the Jackets and the very, very big summer and what we saw last night from Bob coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Matty Ice is currently bathing himself in creamy jalapeno dip. And I've officially run out of ways to tease this show. Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays at noon.
The Fan.
Have you ever called a company and after hanging up the phone felt a little nervous on who exactly they might be sending to your home? It's a common worry and one that we all face at some point. Well, when it comes to your roof, there's no need to worry because the Newman Roofing team has you covered. Our team of professionals arrive on time in marked company vehicles, and you'll always be greeted with a friendly, warm smile on their face. Our experts take the time to thoroughly educate you on the findings of your home, not only fixing your roof, but ensuring you understand every step of the process, giving you the peace of mind you deserve. That's why Newman Roofing has been the most trusted roofing company in Central Ohio for the last 32 years, and counting. So whether you need a small repair or full replacement, call the company you can trust. Newman Roofing at 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF, or visit us online at newmanroofing.com. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
She posted about us just now.
Celebrities can't get enough of Biana's bespoke skincare line.
She has 147 million followers. How do we monetize?
She needs a social media associate to help her with the hype.
We should repost this. Do we need a hashtag?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
This is Pre-Tection. Yep, Pre-Tection. The everyday skin protection ritual that protects your skin from mosquitoes. Pre-barbecue. Pre-playground. Pre-everything. Pre-every day. Prevention is the best protection. This summer, make sure you have OFF, the #1 dermatologist recommended repellent brand. SC Johnson, a family company.
One of the most important Buckeye football seasons ever is coming. The Fan is your home for all the news and interviews you need as fall camp approaches. Join us. We're a friendly bunch of degenerates. Your Buckeye station, The Fan.
When you're drinking a frozen beverage from McDonald's, your brain may not like how refreshingly cold it is. But the rest of your body, oh yes, it's gonna relish every moment of it because there are drinks. Then there are drinks from McDonald's.
Refresh yourself with an any-size frozen drink like a Sprite Lemonade for just $1.79 and paired with a McCrispy and fries. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
It's the Kia Summer Sticker Sales Event. So give your friends something to look at and make this a summer to share and save with a capable Kia SUV like the Sorento, Sportage, Seltos, or Telluride, or a powerful sedan like the fun-to-drive Forte, each backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. And for a limited time, get 1.9% APR for 48 months for well-qualified buyers and $1,000 bonus cash on specially tagged 2024 Sportage and Sorento models. Kia, movement that inspires.
Call 800-333-4KIA for details. Financing for 24 to 48 months from Kia Finance, subject to credit approval for purchase of a new 2024 Sportage or Sorento. Excludes hybrids and PHEVs. $21.65 per month per 1,000 financed at 48 months. $1,000 bonus cash on specially tagged models must be applied as down payment. Must take delivery by 7/8/24. Limited inventory. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See retailer for details.
Whether you're a seasoned pro or a new golfer, think beyond the green and head over to X Golf Columbus and X Golf Powell. Come experience the most advanced and accurate golf simulators in the world at X Golf. A fun venue with great food, excellent service, and a full bar. You can play around on one of our 50 courses, take a lesson from our PGA Pro, hit the driving range, join a league, or just sit back and sip a beer on the outdoor patio. Book your tee time today at playxgolf.com. X Golf Columbus and X Golf Powell, the home of indoor golf.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Our top men are working on everything except this show. This is Bishop and Friends.
Indeed. Last night we watched Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final, and it was a classic. Our guy Bob got to hoist Lord Stanley in the process, a guy who's covered the Blue Jackets from the beginning and knows Bob very, very well and knows this whole operation very well. He's a great friend of the program. Our good buddy Aaron Portzline covers the Jackets and the NHL for The Athletic. I'm watching last night. I led the show with this. Like, can you imagine what it would be like here? As you're watching, and we've never really even been close. Never been close. Once to the second round, of course, that's it. You've been here from the beginning, buddy. What do you think it would be like if that a 2-month march? I mean, that started April 22nd.
Right. Yeah. You know what I've always thought? Like, people have said great things about the crowds here for a while, and it's true. It's especially true if you consider that this team has never taken the city on a 6-week run into the postseason where you're just delirious and captivated, where people who know the Blue Jackets exist and go to a couple games a year or whatever really start to become passionate about the franchise. They haven't given the city that, and usually if that's what you are as a franchise, I mean, look at Florida. Florida's been, pretty hopeless at times as a franchise, and their crowds have responded in kind. Here, it just the roof would blow off. I just remember when the clock was ticking down against Tampa Bay, just looking into the crowd at people and realizing that they were so excited, and they're looking at the scoreboard and they're counting it down. They're jumping up and down. They're hugging complete strangers. They're not really sure what to do with this because they never imagined what this would feel like. It was incredible to witness. It was even more than what was going on the ice to see that happen. And I can't even imagine what it would be like to have the team accomplish what the Florida Panthers did last night.
Yeah, I can't either because we just don't have a point of reference. And I was thinking back to 19 when you're up 2-1 on Boston in the second round, and you go, okay, like now, okay, you handled the best team in the hockey, you swept them, and now you got this. You're up 2-1 on Boston. Like, holy cow! Like this is about to get really real. And then Boston did what Boston did. When you go back to that time in the franchise, is there room for second guessing? Was there an opportunity there, or do you think that JD and Jarmo and everybody who was in charge of the organization at that time, what are the regret, if any, around that time? Could that have lasted longer? Could that have been more?
Well, the weird thing about it is that all occurred against the backdrop of Bobrovsky and Panarin, everybody knowing they were moving on, right? And Bobrovsky's was contentious. Panarin's was like, oh, I love you guys. I love it here, but I just always wanted to play in New York. Nothing personal. But the Bobrovsky stuff was a little bit different. That was a little more contentious. They tried, even on July 1st that year, there was literally an offer from the Blue Jackets to the agent who represented both Bobrovsky and Panarin, if you recall. Here's $20 million, divided however you want between the two. It's not like they just let him walk into the sunset without trying. They tried. Panarin's the one that really, really busted him up to lose him, an MVP-type player. But that's what made all of it seem kind of strange. And, of course, part of you wondered, like, can anything happen in this postseason that might convince Bobrovsky and Panarin to stay? And, of course, it didn't. But, yeah, it was a very strange time. If you remember, Bob was suspended by the team.
That's right.
That season. There was the blow up at the start of training camp where Bobrovsky was pissed off about not getting a legitimate contract offer. He was really offended after his early playoff struggles that a suggestion was made. A certain someone on the phone with you right now may have asked the question. Is it time to consider a sports psychologist? Because he was so good in the regular season, 2-time Vezina winner, and he'd get to the playoffs and you'd be like, who is this guy? He could not perform in the playoffs. Now, the play around him, of course, has something to do with that, but that really pissed him off, too, when Jarmo Kekalainen said, maybe. And he really never got over any of that stuff. So he was ready to move on no matter what, but all of that was playing out in the background.
Yeah, it's a fascinating time because you think about how difficult it is. I'm watching McDavid play like the last 5 minutes of the game last night on fumes, and I'm going, you know how desperately he knows what that all represents, and he knows. Yeah, I'm listening to his post game, and I'm like, he knows how hard it is to get to this point, even as talented as he is.
And how empty must he have felt, the whole team, last night to get that to be that far into it and come up that so close to getting it done. And God, it's been 31 years since Canada's won the Cup, so they felt in some way like they're playing for the whole country. Incredible.
Yeah, it was. And then we see Bill Zito, who was here. Didn't he do the Wiz contract? Wasn't he Wiz's agent? What, do I have that right?
Yeah, he was. And he had to, I forget what the legal term is, divest himself from all of his existing contracts. He dreamed of working for a club. Mm-hmm. And he and Jarmo started an agency 30 years earlier, Acme Sports. He had to divest himself from all of his holdings there to do it. So he gave up a lot. And I was thinking today, what's the bigger frustration, or what should be the bigger frustration if you're a Blue Jackets fan? That it's Bobrovsky who's hosting the Cup last night, or that it's Bill Zito who guided them there? And honestly, I think people at Bill Zito, when he left here and took the job, I don't think people really realized how different he would run the Panthers than the Blue Jackets were run with him. He wasn't obviously the top decision maker. Jarmo was, but look at some of the moves. I mean, just one move to highlight. They lose Joel Quenneville early in the season with all of the crap that happened in when he was in Chicago. They replaced him with Andrew Brunette, who guides Florida to the President's Trophy that year as an interim coach. And Bill Zito says, President's Trophy, that's nice. I still think we can do better. We can get Paul Maurice. Let's go big game hunting and get Paul Maurice. Columbus would never have done that. They would have given the job to Brunette and rid it out. When Keith Tkachuk, how old am I? When Tkachuk becomes available, he's not taking no for an answer. He is going to get Tkachuk. That is going to happen. What do I have to give up? He is a big game hunter. He is an A kicker, and he's really not of Columbus. And you can see how he's run the Panthers, and it's fascinating to think what the Blue Jackets may look like if he were the one that took over here.
So the timing of that. So JD goes to run New York. Jarmo gets the elevation. Where does that timing match up with Zito?
Zito, I'd have to look and see exactly when Zito left.
Close, right?
And he was starting to get interviews all over the place. You knew it was going to happen. And honestly, it's like so many other things. Could you have foreseen in 2019 somebody saying, you know what, the guy that's led us to the playoffs and we just won a round, let's get rid of our GM and promote the underling.
Right.
That's not reasonable. No. So you let the guy go. You don't stand in his way. But now you can see in Florida what a Bill Zito-like run team looks like, and it's pretty damn impressive.
Really is. Do you think you'll see one? We asked the question earlier. Will we see one in our lifetime, like hoisting the Stanley Cup? There's still 10 teams who haven't done it, Porty.
Yeah, I mean, it's chances. I would say chances are no. I mean, that's just being honest. But I also believe that hope springs eternal. That's why we're sports fans. And things can change fast. 5 years ago, oh my God, Florida, how long has it been since they even made the playoffs? And if you remember when Bobrovsky signs with Florida, he'd say, what about his playoff struggles? Oh, right. Florida doesn't give a crap about playoffs. Right. What are the playoffs? They never make the playoffs. They were certainly considered more of a hopeless cause for much of their existence than Columbus has been. So, you put the right people in charge, you get a couple of breaks here and there with players popping that maybe you don't expect, and anything's possible. Keep the faith.
I'm with you, brother. I'm with you. Always good talking to you, buddy. Thanks for your time.
Yeah. Thanks, Bo.
All right, Aaron Portzline, the best in the business, covers the Jackets, the Athletic, on the Brian Heating Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. We had three things coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Big Voice Guy here to remind you that you're listening to The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Okay, thanks. I have 3 more seconds. Bye-bye.
If you're about to get engaged or ready to walk down the aisle, your true love deserves a true jeweler, the Diamond Seller. As a true jeweler, we not only have designer collections to meet your bridal needs, but we also have talented in-house designers who can create something truly one of a kind. Visit the Diamond Seller today.
Listen up, gamers. Mountain Dew has always been your go-to for a refreshing citrus kick. Now it's also your go-to for gaming rewards. With Mountain Dew Gaming Rewards, you just look for codes under the caps of specially marked 20-ounce bottles of Mountain Dew. Enter those codes online to bank points, and then redeem them for awesome gaming gear. Everything from gift cards, game copies, controllers, consoles, custom Mountain Dew gaming gear, and more. Join Mountain Dew Gaming Rewards now.
Open to legal U.S. residents 18+. Subject to program terms at MountainDewGaming.com and 2525. Voter prohibited. When I'm not voicing Wendy's ads, I'm gaming. I stay up and fueled because Wendy's delivers late.
Are you recording a Wendy's ad? Come on!
Got 'em. Whatever you're up for, we're down. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's Delivery Late Night. Open till midnight or later.
Hours and delivery availability may vary.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. You probably heard me talk about Dr. Mark Levy's custom-fit oral appliances to help treat sleep apnea and how they are so much better than using those bulky, uncomfortable CPAP machines. Well, I've been talking about it for years, and the FDA just recently announced a recall of over 18 million CPAP masks. Yikes! These CPAP masks, the ones with magnetic headgear clips, can potentially interfere with certain medical devices. Pacemakers, implantable defibrillators, neurostimulators, aneurysm clips. And if that happens, that can cause injuries not only to yourself if you use these masks, but also your partner as well. Sleep apnea is no joke, and as I've been saying, it affects everyone in the home. So if you've been diagnosed with sleep apnea and you can't tolerate your CPAP machine anymore, or, just flat out worried it could possibly do harm to you, that sort of thing, call Dr. Mark Levy today for your custom oral appliance at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's right. Dr. Mark Levy, 1-800-MORE-SLEEP, or book an appointment online at sleepbettercolumbus.com.
Bobby Carpenter once sold workout equipment on QVC Canada. There's no joke here. That actually happened. Morning Juice with Bobby and Beamer.
Weekdays starting at 6.
The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
The Columbus Men's Clinic opened in 2014 for guys who get it done. Let's talk, fellas. You solve problems all day at work. You fix your sink when it's broken. But when it comes to ED and low T, it doesn't get done. We get it. You hate going to the doctor, but you're the guy that fixes things. At the Columbus Men's Clinic, there's nothing to fear and no reason to delay. We've been destroying bedroom boredom for a decade. So if you haven't fixed this, call us. When the pills fail, call us. If you feel like you've tried everything, call us. Here, there's hope. From the conventional to the next level. You'll be seen by our friendly, discreet physician who will take the time to listen. Imagine finally taking care of this with no surgery. Imagine going from feeling gray to living life in vibrant color. It's time to be confident. Join the thousands of guys who have found success after walking through our doors. Will you be one of them? Dial 614-300-7400 or go to ColumbusMen'sClinic.com to schedule a $99 male performance consultation, including blood work. Do it for you. Do it for her. ColumbusMen'sClinic.com. Book your appointment now. Hey, it's Anthony here for the Good Feet store. We do a segment on the show every week called Pressure, but that's about sports. What about the pressure your feet endure every day? I know mine did. When I went to the Good Feet store, I learned I was out of line. I joked, I already know that. They said, no, physically, my feet weren't being supported the right way. So when I went to the store on Polaris Parkway, they also have one on Stringtown Road, I took all the time I needed to walk around the store to see what felt and fit the best in my shoes. Once I had them in, my personal arch supports from the Good Feet store, my lower back pain went away. What a feeling. You need to get your free personalized fitting by one of their arch support specialists. For arch supports to be effective, they require a precision fit. That's why Good Feet arch supports are only available at the Good Feet store. You like them? You can wear them home. You have nothing to lose but the pain. So go to goodfeet.com today or go in and try the Good Feet feeling. Comfort, energy, performance, and pain relief, all from the Good Feet store.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Cosby Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Producers, co-hosts, friends, some of those things are true. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Hi, Reese. What do we have on the poll today?
Daily Fan Poll asks, how did you feel about Sergei Bobrovsky holding the Stanley Cup? Like a jealous ex, loved it, hated it, don't care. Well, 40% of you out there say you don't care when it comes to watching Goalie Bob hoist Lord Stanley's Cup. 34% said you loved it. 16% said like a jealous ex. 8% say they hated watching Goalie Bob hold the cup.
Can I say I hate Goalie Bob?
It?
Maybe not
How
loved
could you hate
it.
him?
I don't know.
I mean, that's crazy. Like he was unbelievable here. Unbelievable. Like I don't understand that. Like and as you just heard with Porty there, like if they would have offered him a goalie market value in the beginning, then they wouldn't have had to come at the end and do the double deal with Panarin and Bob of here's 20, split it however you want. Like if they would have handled it maybe differently, maybe they could have kept him. Who knows? It's a great what if. I was happy for him. I was happy for him. Happy. I was rooting for Edmonton, but happy for him that if it wasn't them, I was happy that he was able to do it. All right, time for three things on a Tuesday.
1.
2, 1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Custom Air. Custom Air. Custom Solutions. Custom Comfort.
All right, number one for me. I saw this this morning from the crew on their social channels. Manchester City and Chelsea are training at the LDC on Friday, and you pay a nominal fee and you go in there and watch them. I mean, Man City is a top 2 operation on the planet in club football. Now, some of their key guys probably would not be there because you're going to be in European or Copa America competition, but those that aren't are. So that's pretty cool, and it's a reminder that those guys are here. Very cool.
The boys are out in South Florida. They are taking the Stanley Cup wherever they want, including into the ocean. I have already seen today, but this one, to go back to our real truth of would you just drink whatever's in the cup if somebody offered it to you? Well, this is beyond just it being offered it to you. They're at some bar called the Elbow Room in Fort Lauderdale, right? And it's like right across the street from the beach. Guy comes by and says, I want to take a sip out of it. And they're on the top balcony, not the top, it's just the second floor, but they're on the balcony. And they pour the Stanley Cup over. And it's so big, and they pour it too fast that it doesn't come out in like a trickle or a stream. It just comes out in a ball of beer and just lands on this guy's face. And I guess that would be me if I was in Fort Lauderdale.
I mean, I think they still have it at Zumbizi Bay where the bucket fills up with water and you kind of wait in the pool area and it just dumps it on you. Like, that is that, just with booze. Speaking on ESPN Cleveland this morning, Zach Mizell of The Athletic says he expects the Guardians to be active by or on the July 30th trade deadline in a former fashion like they were in 2016. Someone might have told you that yesterday, but that expectation. This Guardians team's won 50 games in 70. They've had 50 wins in 76 games. That's the 5th quickest in team history to reach that 50-win mark. 3 of the other 4 reached the World Series. In 54, they won the whole thing. In 2016, it took this Guardians team 80 games to reach 50 wins.
Go win the whole thing.
Yep.
There's only one thing left to do, right? That's in Major League. Number 2 for me, speaking of, I talked about Major League, maybe watching that with the boys one night. So last night, NBC had his buddy over, and I went downstairs, and I knew that they were trying to watch something a little nefarious. I mean, this is what happens. That's their age. I get it totally. But they were watching something that I didn't even know existed. There was a Baywatch movie with The Rock.
Yeah.
And the girl from like the first season of True Detective, isn't it?
Alexandra Daddario?
Yeah, that one. I had no idea that this existed. I had no idea that they made it kind of like an R-rated comedy attempt, but that happened too. So completely unbeknownst to me. I remember Mitch Buchanan running around and Pamela Anderson, all that stuff. I don't remember. I had no idea that this movie even happened.
Zac Efron and Priyanka Chopra are there as well. So
Zac Efron's in that?
Yeah, it's like a funny thing about like how much bigger The Rock is than him. I don't know. I saw it once and I was like, this isn't very good. And
I imagine it wasn't. No, there's not much to it. That's one of those ones like when Jerry says to Newman, maybe there's more to Newman. No, there's less. Maybe there's more to Baywatch. No, there's less.
Tuesdays with Tiberi today, and he mentioned that he was talking to James Laurinaitis this week, and he had an interview, so he was on his Twitter, and Reeser put that up at 971BFS if you want to check it out, or it's on Dom's Twitter for that. But I saw it, and a little bit of a different look for James as the years have gone on. And I want to point out one thing, because I always thought this was probably just a covert shot at me, but I remember distinctly James saying something that somebody, I won't attribute the comment to somebody else, but somebody in his life had maybe said something that like, they don't like men with beards because they feel like it's just a push-up bra for men. It just automatically makes them look better. Well, Threes now has a beard. So
that's right.
I don't know what to read into that.
Speaking of James, he's going to join The Common Man Thursday from 3 to 6. I guess if we weren't supposed to announce that, oops. Rothman and Ice are up next from 12 to 3. Pete Futak from College Football News is going to join them at 1:33. That's with Matty Ice and AR. Probably discuss Ohio State's roster and maybe give his thoughts whether or not Ohio Stadium's the 4th toughest place to play in the country.
I think they had it right. I just think they had the 3 in front wrong. Finally, for me, number 3. So my wife had been like in a borderline panic over the last couple of weeks because she thought that she kept just saying, well, there are so many ticks around. There are ticks everywhere. They're falling out of the sky. And I'm like, I don't think that's how it works. I've never seen like a tick infestation in my life. But they were like on the umbrellas outside. There'd be some in the pool. And I'm like, are you sure this is a tick? Are you sure? And she's like, yes, it's a tick. It's that. So I downloaded some app that identifies insects. Japanese beetle. Far more believable. Also, nothing that will cause Lyme disease.
Last one for me. So yesterday, I had some free time in the afternoon. We had a grocery list, and I said, you know what? I'll go take care of the grocery. Then we don't have to go together, and J-Lo doesn't have to go do it herself, whatever. It's pretty embarrassing when you have to turn around in the grocery store because you realize, I have to go back. I missed this thing on the list. And then it's even more embarrassing when you can't find the mangoes. And I'm looking everywhere for them, and I can't figure it out. And I texted her, and she's like, maybe they have pre-cut ones. And I go over to the pre-cut stuff, and I was like, no, I can't find anything there. I eventually found one little sign amongst the bananas, and there were some kiwis and stuff over there. But the mangoes were just sold out. But there was a little sign. So they did exist. They shouldn't exist that time. But when you go by somebody who you already passed, it's just embarrassing to turn your cart around.
It's worse at the line at the checkout.
Yes.
You get that far.
Having to leave the line. That's one of the worst feelings ever. We were supposed to get season 3 of The Bear Thursday at 12 a.m. I guess
really?
Hulu's decided to move it up 3 hours. So Wednesday, June 26th at 9 p.m., you're going to get all 10 seasons of the 3rd season of The Bear. All 10 episodes of the 3rd season of The Bear.
Is summer now the time for TV?
No, they're making a mistake with that. That they need to do that. They should release it once a week.
The episodic thing's the better part.
Then you'd get some build up because when you do it like this, it's there and it's gone. I don't understand the thinking of it at all. Rothman and Ice coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Here's a listener tweet. Can I tase Common Man in the nuts? Fine by us, but he may like it. Common Man and T-Bone.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
The Fan. This is a Fan Action Update.
The Cleveland Guardians have an 8-game lead in the AL Central and are minus 240 favorites now to win the division. Cleveland is just one of 3 teams with 50 wins in Major League Baseball, and they currently have the 8th best odds to win the World Series, right now sitting at 22-1 to win it all. Today, the Guardians are plus 122 underdogs against the Baltimore Orioles. And for your Action Update, I'm Scotty Vegas.
Big things are happening on the east side.
We're ready to deal. Come negotiate during May's Dealin' Days at Lindsay Honda. Lower payments, better financing, more value for any trade. Shop lindsayhonda.com and see new Hondas with thousands in savings, plus many other deals. We'll work hard to get you a payment you can afford. Now, during May Dealin' Days at Lindsay Honda.
Honda makes the cars, Lindsay makes the difference.
See lindsayhonda.com for program details.
The best of rivals. The best of 2 leagues meet again this summer. MLS versus Liga MX face off in the 2024 MLS All-Star, starting Sunday, July 21st. After a weekend of soccer celebrations, MLS All-Star Skills Challenge presented by AT&T will come to Lower.com Field on Tuesday, July 23rd, featuring MLS All-Stars versus Liga MX All-Stars as they show off the best of their skills. The 2 teams will match up once more at the 2024 MLS All-Star Game, presented by Target on Wednesday, July 24th. For more information on tickets and events, visit MLSsoccer.com/All-Star.
She posted about us just now.
Celebrities can't get enough of Beyonce's bespoke skincare line.
She has 147 million followers. How do we monetize?
She needs a social media associate to help her with the hype.
We should repost this. Do we need a hashtag?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
This is Pre-Tection. Yep, Pre-Tection. The everyday skin protection ritual that protects your skin from mosquitoes. Pre-barbecue. Pre-playground. Pre-everything. Pre-every day. Prevention is the best protection. This summer, make sure you have off the #1 dermatologist recommended repellent brand. SC Johnson, a family company.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit, hims.com/joy.